Yeah, you ready, bro?
The link is in the chat, brother. We live.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Who that you that say that's on TV? Big dog, he the voice of the streets. It's too much killing in the hood, why they creeps out the violence? Look at your little kids, how you say that's not your problem? Yeah, we gon' debate after that. What, wait, teach these brothers that they kings, maybe they won't have to dream. It's a new day, a new era. Time to fall in love with that black that you see up in that mirror, nigga. Peace and love, unity and power, but sit your ass down, it's for the scholars. Minute after minute, hour after hour, let me shout out my Yahweh. You can shout out what you lean on. We going live, turn your screen on. Grab a seat, get this knowledge when the team on. Better pay attention before you end up in detention. Let me mention who it be sa.neter TV. Black peace, black love, black power. sa.neter TV. We can reach the world of power on sa.neter TV. We can do it if we each show up. What's stopping sa.neter TV? On sa.neter TV. I don't hate you, black man. I just hate you cause you hate me. And I ain't did you nothing, but you looking all shady. Maybe it's Mercedes or that Beamer in the driveway. Maybe I can show you how to get that butt you sideways. Tuning on that YouTube sa.neter TV. Yeah, we cooking in the kitchen, but it's no pig feet. I can give you a million years, but you can't beat me. You should try to be yourself. We can show you all the steps. What's your name? Where you calling from? Who on the line? Open up, what you calling for? What's on your mind? Dig up in that bag and drop a jewel for your people. Exposing all evil on sa.neter TV. Black peace, black love, black power. sa.neter TV. We can reach the world of power on sa.neter TV. If we each show up, what's stopping sa.neter TV? Now you see, yeah, on sa.neter TV.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Yeah. What's up, Keon? What's going on, everybody? Once again, like I would always thank my supporters. You know who you are. I ain't got to call out all your names because I might miss one, but you know who you are. Thank all the supporters that donate to the Cash App, Super Chat, and everything. You help keep this channel going. Because if I ain't got no funds to take care of the people, Okay, I wouldn't even be up here right now. So I want to thank all of you out there. You know who you are. Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get rid of this goddamn cough. I know there's a lot of fluid on my lungs, and the doctors, they not really trying to help because they don't want to give you the antidote. They want to just keep you dependent on medicine. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They want to keep you dependent on the medication because if they give you the antidote to cure yourself, then there's no more money for them. So they got to keep it. Excuse me, y'all. They got to keep it like that. So they could easily, well, when I go back, I think I go back soon, and I'm going to ask them a few things that, because I've been checking it out, where they can vacuum something down your throat and vacuum the stuff away from your lungs, but they're not trying to do that. They got to keep you like this. I told you ginger, brandy, or blackberry brandy, and tea. I'm going to try it because I've been trying everything, man. You know that? I'm gonna definitely try it, man. I'm going to try that. I told you ginger, brandy, or blackberry brandy, and tea. I'm going to try that remedy because I've been hearing a lot about black brandy. Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go out tomorrow and get all of that. Brother Gideon, what's up with the hide in the face, man? What's happening?
What's going on, man? It's just cold out here where I'm at, man. I just be
Where you at? Where you at?
Huh?
Where you at?
Man, I'm in Georgia right now.
And it's cold in Georgia?
Yeah, it was cold this morning, man.
Man, it's cold out here where I'm at. I'm in New York.
Yeah, man. Like I'm like you. I'm a little bit under the weather, man. But I'm
not under the weather. I'm good.
Oh yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather, man. But we can make it happen. Definitely.
Okay, let's go, brother. I'm gonna pass you the mic. The topic is Israelites' presence in West Africa. So I got a call from you last night. You said, "Sir, I got a topic I want to bring on. I got to do this," and you chose to do presence in West Africa. Now, before you go in on that, let me ask you this question: when you say present, Israelites' presence in West Africa, what Israelites are you talking about? Are you talking about Israelites that come from America that goes over to Africa? What are you talking about? Or are you talking about Africans born from African fathers and mothers who are Israelites? Let's clear that up.
I'm talking about the original Israelites that we find in the Bible all the way up until present day. Those are the ones I'm talking about.
All right, that's not answering my question. Are you talking about the African people that is born from an African mother and father, or are you talking about Israelites that come from here, America, to go to Africa and chill over there? That's what I'm asking you.
It's definitely not the latter. I never heard the last one you said, but yeah, a lot of them are born to African mothers and fathers.
Okay, and those are Israelites.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, there you go. So that clears up a lot. I'll pass you the mic, brother. You got the floor.
All right, man. No doubt, man. If you want, you can share my screen, and I just got a couple of things I want to show the people right quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's been a while. Okay. And first of all, I want to give all praises to the Most High in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. And like I said, man, this is gonna be a real quick presentation, and we're gonna get it started. Let's see. We're gonna go right here. I'll share. Is my screen sharing?
Yep, your screen is sharing.
All right, so let's get it. Let's see. Give me a couple seconds. Let me see. See what we got here. All right. Let me get back to this. Hold on, so let's see. Let's get it like there. Put it like there. Share. Let's share this. We're gonna share it. Yeah, let's go. All right. So let's see. Let's go here, and I'm gonna start here. And this, like I said, this could be about the Israelite presence in West Africa that we see, and we're gonna start. Matter of fact, I want some of the elders to start.
Born in Puerto Rico, the Eastern End, and Fajardo, the family, primarily the family were in St. Croix, St. Thomas.
You just showing my channel.
Puerto Rico, and a number of them were in the.
Oh, really? Hold on.
Yeah.
Originally,
you just showing me on my channel.
Why it's not? Okay. Share. What about now? You see that?
Yeah, it's still on me.
Damn, why? Share. Share screen.
Stay patient, y'all. Brother Gideon gonna get it in.
And it's still showing you.
No, you on it now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, excuse me, y'all, for that. But yeah, let's go. And like the side say, we're gonna let the elders speak.
Born in Puerto Rico, the Eastern End, and Fajardo, the family, primarily the family were in St. Croix, St. Thomas, and Fajardo, the Eastern End of Puerto Rico, and a number of them were in the island of they called Vieques. They originally migrated from Yemen, the group to Spain. They were called Ladinos, and then they went up in Puerto Rico. I was born into the Hebrew religion, and in the Virgin Islands, unfortunately, there was only one synagogue.
Now let me pause it right there. Pause it. Stop it.
Father, what is?
Now, are you showing a white man with white hair?
And it's still not showing. I was showing Dr. Ben.
No, you're not showing Dr. Ben. You're showing a white man with sunglasses.
Yeah, now I'm scrolling. Okay. So now it's back on you. So my PowerPoint, there's not a PowerPoint showing?
Nothing. You took it down.
I usually know how to do it on the stream, y'all.
All you got to do is open up another window.
All right.
Go to YouTube. That's what you're trying to share, right?
Nah, it's a presentation. I got some slides.
Oh, okay. Well, you should be playing Dr. Ben on your presentation and then share that. Share the Dr. Ben. That's playing.
Okay. All right, so let's see. All right, let me go to let me share. See, because it seems like it's something new. You can't show your slides no more.
Yeah, you can show your slides. I don't think you know what you're doing right now. You probably, but they do change this thing up a lot. So, but you can still share your screen.
So let me see. So that's the entire screen is sharing right now. See, now it's sharing on, it's showing you. I just now do you see something?
Hold up, I want to share something and see what's up. Let me see.
Adjustment Bureau. We make Negroes adjust.
See, I just shared that. So everything is still working the same way. And let me see yours. All right, there you go. You got Dr. Ben.
Okay, now it's showing.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, man. I don't know what was going on right there, but all right, let's go.
Dr. Ben sitting down with Gil Noble.
Fajardo, the family,
You hear it?
primarily,
Yep.
the family were in St. Croix, St. Thomas, and Fajardo. The eastern and Puerto Rico, and a number of them were in the island of they called Vieques. They originally migrated from Yemen, the group to Spain. They were called Ladinos, and then they wind up in Puerto Rico. I was born into the Hebrew religion, and in the Virgin Islands, unfortunately, there was only one synagogue. And it was.
Wait a minute, who was Jewish? Your father?
Nobody's.
Your mother's Jewish too?
Yeah. And my father found it necessary at time to dabble in Roman Catholicism. Since in St. Christ there was no Jewish synagogue, there was one in St. Thomas, and seeing a black person who was Jewish was an oddity. And as it's still even up to today, as a matter of fact, most European Jews denied there was such thing as black Jews at that time. And not one of my teachers taught me anything about Africa, even the best of them.
Did your father teach you much about Africa?
Quite
Tell you
so.
much about?
Quite so. In discussion, my father would always, because of his own knowledge and because of being in the UNA, the Garvey movement, anytime I would speak about certain things, as a matter of fact, when Daddy spoke to me about the Torah or the Old Testament, he constantly pointed out to me that which is of Africa in it. For instance, Daddy was saying, well, Moses, he was an African, he was born in Egypt. Long before when people look at the map, and although they saw Egypt there, didn't recognize Egypt as being in Africa, my father had made that very clear to me. And
there are black Hebrew, there are brown Hebrew, there are yellow Hebrew. How is it that a bunch of Europeans called Jews dominate the word Jew to the extent of making you think that the very faith Hebrew is exclusive to them?
So these couple of next slides is just speaking about the Hamite hypothesis. You know, we really don't got to go through that, but
for the need of the black community for cultural and ideological structures and unity, which is obviously a laudable and praiseworthy goal, then proceeds to redefine Jewish history and biblical history in a way which may be conducive to his political view, but does violence to history. He refers to Judaism as originating in Africa, that all of Judaism comes from Africa. The reality of the biblical text,
that's what Dr. Ben said.
Open it to read, is that Abraham comes from Mesopotamia. He comes from the area which we today refer to as the Fertile Crescent. Indeed, what we refer today as Judaism, the religion of the Jewish people, reached its full maturity not in Egypt, but according to many scholars, after the first exile at 586 BCE, back into Mesopotamia.
Now, the pictures that we see on the left, these is from the Minoan civilization. And again, this is just basically breaking down what the Hamitic hypothesis is. And what we want to do, or at least what I want to do, is just establish a couple of facts. And once we prove facts, then that point is established. I'm I'm going to all of these sources throughout my little presentation. I'm going to show you, and these is the times they're from. It ranged from the 10th century all the way up until the 18th century. Now, the first place I want to go to is Avaris. This is one of the archaeological digs and a rendering of what they found. 12 principal tombs. One of them is a pyramid. A lot of people, speculate that could be even Joseph's tomb. They even found some archaeological finds that they even ascribed to Joseph, which is this right here. And they even did a rendering of it. When you look at that rendering, I think that rendering was made by a German archaeologist. And this is the rendering that's coming up. This is the piece that they found. Notice how you have the chisel mark in the middle. And, I definitely will put forward what I think why they did it. This is what they drew. And that looks pretty Caucasian to me. But when you study the sculpture itself and the peoples from that area, you definitely see it's a correlation. See, they tried to make it seem like, in my opinion, that it could be European with the hair and also with the rendering of the drawing. But you actually see people in Africa with this hairstyle even to this day. And it's nothing like what the rendering, the drawing showed, or what Shem is, this character. And it's funny, his name is Shem from the Three Stooges. But let's continue. So as we can see, this is an actual hairstyle that is practiced today in East Africa, showing the validity of our claims that the original Israelites were what we call sub-Saharan Negro people. This is from the Afar people. You can even see the grain. It's pretty evident to see that that's the culture that, have that same type of hairstyle. And that's the drawing that they will want you to believe it come from. A guy with some ginger hair or something like that. But yeah, that's asinine if you ask me. So when we're looking at why we say the Israelites are what we call black, you got to go to some of the earliest sources. And Tacitus right here is some of the earliest sources. And people can go look at this source, and it's saying that they think they come from those Ethiopians. It says descended from those Ethiopians who were driven by fear and hatred. Now, along with the Ethiopians, it mentions other people. It mentions that they could be from the Cretians, from Crete, from the people in Solomon, and we also see people from Syria. But if a person was to do all this, like if they was just to look and study just a little bit, they would know all of those people that's named are still black people, including the Syrians. The ancient Syrians were black people. Now, another one is from Strabo. Strabo is from the 1st century AD, and he mentions that the Israelites are thought to be from the ancient Egyptians, as he says it in this source right here. Now, when we look at Benjamin of Tudela, he's from the 12th century. He speaks about a place called Djibouti in Ethiopia. And he said they worship the sun. They have high places everywhere outside the city at a distance about half a mile. And every morning they run forth to greet the sun. And all throughout the island, including all the towns there, live several thousand Israelites. The inhabitants are all black, and the Jews also. So this is in the 1100s. So this is even before the European even start really, interacting with the African. Now, in this book called The Races of Men from 1844, if I'm not mistaken, it says, in the history of the Jew, Coptic, the great question of the extinction of race has been considered. These races placed by theorists with the so-called Caucasian race, and at the head of the Caucasian family, I consider as belonging to the dark races of men. They are African and Asiatic, not European. The purest of the Jewish race is a dark, tiny, yellow-colored person.
Hebrew, they're brown Hebrew, they're yellow Hebrew, is it that a bunch of Europeans called Jews dominate the word Jew to the extent of making you think that the very faith Hebrew is exclusive to them?
Now, let's just keep in mind, I've used several sources, including 2 master teachers. Again, so we're just here establishing a fact. And every time we establish that fact, we're just going to keep it moving. Now, these are some very important dates, and we're going to see why. Secret History of Procopius. This is a book around the 6th century AD. I'm going to be pulling the source from. He commonly classified as the last major historian of the ancient Western world. Now, in his book, he says, at that time, the idea occurred to the Emperor Justinian to ally himself with Ethiopians and Homerites in order to injure the Persians. I shall now point first. And as we go down, it's speaking of the place. Okay, the boundaries of Palestine extend toward the east to the sea, which is called the Red Sea. Now, this sea, beginning at India, comes to an end at this point. And it keeps going. And as one sails into the sea from there, the Egyptian mountains lie on the right, extending toward the south. On the other side, a country deserted by men extends northward to an indefinite distance, and the land on both sides is visible as one sails in as far as the island called Latobe, not less than 1,000 stays distant from the city of Elias. On this island, Hebrews have lived from old in autonomy. Now, that's 6th century. Now, in this book, Eldad Travels is written in 875 AD. It takes stock of the long journey that Eldad Danite, but his true name is Eldad Hadani, which we'll see later. When you research things, you can see the correlation and you can connect things to verify it also. And I'm going to show you one of those instances just with his last name. In his book, he says, he told, this is what the Jew, I think that's from Quran, is telling what he was told by Eldad. He told us that 4 tribes, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, are in one place, ancient Evelis, which is Havilah, where the gold is. They have a judge. It goes down. They are immense with battle with 7 kings of Cush. It takes 7 months to traverse their land. 5 of those same kings, it goes. Although they possess the Hebrew Bible in its entirety, they read from neither the scroll of Esther, nor, for they were not involved in that same miracle, nor the scroll of Lamentations, lest their heart be broken. So again, this is another source stating Africans, or rather Israelites being in Africa. This is the 9th century. And he continues, and he's just talking about how they fight and how much of a warrior that they are. And if you see the sources that speaks about the Israelites in Africa, it gives them that same type of disposition where they're warriors. And we're going to see as I continue. It says, and they battle in war until 3 months are over, whereupon they come with all the booty to King Adel, and he divides everything up evenly among all the Israelites. Now, in this book is called The History of the Holy Eastern Church, the Patriarchy of Alexandria, 11th century. Now, it says, Patriarch of Alexandria speaks of the war between Bani Hamiyyah and Abyssinia. It was that a woman of Queen of Bani el Hamiyyah had revolted against him and his country. She took captive from it many people and burned many cities and destroyed churches and drove him from place to place. That which befell him was a retribution for what the king who was before him had done to the metropolitan in the days of Father Abba Cosmos, as we have explained earlier, through his falsification and fraud. Now, this source is speaking of a woman that is warring against the Abyssinians. And it doesn't mention this woman as an Israelite in this source, but it's mentioning her in this battle, the 11th century. We'll continue. Now, in the book, The Itinerary of Benjamin Tuadera, we'll continue and we'll see what it's saying right here. Let's go. He says, and a little before Gihon, which descends from the land of Cush, over which there rules a king, which they call Sultan Elbiha, which is the true name of the Neget. Nevertheless, he relates many things. For example, he writes that the Jews did inhabit great mountains and lived according to their own. 12th century. Marco Polo in the 14th century, he says, Abash, i.e. Habasha, i.e. Abyssinia, is a very great province, and you must know that it constitutes the Middle India, and it is on the mainland. There are in it 6 great kings with 6 great kingdoms, and of these 6 great kings there are 3 that are Christian and 3 that are Saracens, but the greatest of all the 6 is a Christian, and all the others are subject to him. There are Jews also in this country, and these bear 2 marks, one on either cheek, and the Saracens have but one, to wit, on the forehead, extending halfway down the nose. That kind of sounds authentic to Africa. But again, this is Marco Polo. He went all the way into China, and he lived with the great Khans for a while. This is the 1300s. Now, in this book called A Particular Description of All the Known Borders, Coasts, and Inlands of Africa, which John Leo Africanus hath left undescribed, collected out of many ancient and late writers, translated by John Pori. This is 1842, but these sources range. Now it says on page 41, the kingdom of Damat does border upon the kingdom of Zoa and is enclosed on either side with the lake of Barsina and the lake of Zangabu. Howbeit, others place Damat between the kingdoms of Vangu and Gom towards the west, which opinion seem most probable. This country abounds with gold, ginger, grapes, corn, and beasts of all sorts. The slaves of this kingdom are much esteemed and are commonly sold throughout all Arabia, Persia, and Egypt, where they prove most valiant soldiers. The greater part of the people of the Mut are Gentiles, the residue Christians who have certain monasteries in this kingdom that is exceeding high and dreadful mountain. So it goes down. Of these Amazons, it's talking about the women, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the women warriors. He says, read more, which use bows and arrows, and it goes down. And then he says, Kafars being as black as pitch and of a mighty stature, and as some think descendant of the Jews. So this is from the book, A Particular Description of All the Known Kingdoms, Borders, and Coasts of Inland Africa, speaking about Damat and some being descended from Jews. So what I want to talk about right now, is something that I found out through my looking, and that's the split of the Israelite kingdom of Ethiopia. What we all know about is the kingdom of Aksum and the Solomonic dynasty, but there was another dynasty that actually fought them. Again, this is the book, A History of the Holy Eastern Church. See what it says? We're going to use the Kebra Nagast, and we're going to use the Travels to Discover the Source of the Nile by James Bruce. This guy, James Bruce, he actually lived with the Ethiopians over a decade, compiling the histories and what he saw, and it's included in this book. Now, again, while we are familiar and acquainted with the Ethiopian Jew, what we are not familiar with is the massive split between the Israelites who accepted Roman Catholicism and the Israelites who did not. It was those who accepted Roman Christianity that were able to, with the assistance of Christendom, repulse and send to flight those of the noble family that resisted conversion while simultaneously established their kingdom in Aksum. So what I'm about to go into is that fight between the Israelites that didn't want to go into Roman Catholicism and those that did. Now it says there are very four interesting events in the course of the reigns of these princes. The first and greatest we have already mentioned, the birth of Christ in the 8th year of Bazan. The second is the conversion of Abyssinia to Christianity in the reign of Abra and Abzibah in the year of Christ 333, according to our account. The third, the war with the Jews under Caleb. The fourth, the massacre of the princes on the mountains of Damo. The time and circumstances of all these are well known, and I shall relate them in their turn with brevity, becoming a historian. Now, in the book on page 485, it says, about the year 960, an attempt was made by this family to mount the throne of Abyssinia, as we shall see hereafter, when the princes of the house of Solomon were nearly extirpated, which means murdered, killed, upon the rock Damo. This it is probably produced more animosity and bloodshed. At last, the power of the Falasha was so much weakened that they were forced to leave, having no cavalry to maintain themselves and to take possession of the rugged and almost inaccessible rocks in that high ridge called the Mountains of Simeon. One of these, which nature seems to have for a fortress, they chose for their metropolis, and it was ever after called the Jews' Rock. Now, right here it says, in his days, let me see if I missed something. Okay, no, I didn't. In his days, the king of Abyssinia, and this is from the history of the Holy Roman Eastern Church. In his days, the king of Abyssinia sent to the king of Nubia a youth whose name was George, and made known to him how the Lord has chastised him, he and the inhabitants of his land. It was that a woman, a queen of Bani el Hamra, Bani el Damut, had revolted against him and against his country. She took captive from it many people and burned many cities and destroyed churches and drove him from place to place. Now listen to her name again, Bani el Hamya, Bani el Damuta, and she's going to have other names as well. Again, Benjamin Tudel, 12th century. From there, it's 12 days where there are few Jews. From there, it is 8 days' journey to Cush, where the land of Eden, which is in Thessalar. This country is mountainous, seeming. There are many Israelites here, and they are not under the yoke of the Gentiles, but possess cities and castles on the summits of the mountains, from which they make descents into the plain country called Libya, which is a Christian empire. These are the Libyans of the land of Libya, with whom the Jews are at war. The Yuhadim take spoil and booty and retreat to the mountains, and no man can prevail against them. Now, this is Benjamin Tudel writing in the 12th century. So, like as I was just briefly touching on that, this kingdom of Simeon was a dynasty that resisted the conversion from, or rather to Roman Catholicism. And they managed to escape. And as we continue, let's see if I have anything else. So now this is Professor Tadas Tamarat, 1935 to 2013, may he rest in peace, Ethiopian historian. And he says on page 39, the country of the Habasha has been ruled by a woman, and I'm quite sure he's quoting something, if I'm not mistaken, for many years now. She has killed the king of the Habasha, who was called Hadani. Until today, she rules with complete independence in her own country in the frontier areas of the country. Now, I just want to go back to that real quick because it's interesting that we can see. She killed the Habash, who was called Hadani. Now, earlier, we was just reading a book called Eldad the Danite, and his name is Eldad Hadani. So, again, when we compare sources, we can see the connection and the validity of what's being said. So on page 526, Bruce Bowen writes, an independent sovereignty in one family of Jews has always been preserved on the mountain of Simeon, and the royal residence was upon a high pointed rock called the Jews' Rock. Several other inaccessible mountains served as natural fortresses for this people, now grown very confident. So it says, Gideon and Judith were then king and queen of the Jews, and their daughter Judith, whom in Hamar they called Epher and sometimes sa.neter, fire, was a woman of great beauty and talents for intrigue, had been married to the governor of a small district called Berna, both which countries were likewise much infected with Judaism. So, what I want to go to real quick. So, how much time we got? How much time you want to keep running it?
Brother, we're going to run it until you finish.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. So, what we're going to look at is the dispersion of the Israelites and some of the first places that they went. And with that, we'll keep going. We're going to look at the Yabir Israelites. I was actually speaking to a tether on the internet one day, and he told me that there were no people calling themselves Hebrews in Africa. And it's actually when I presented him with this information right here. Now, the Yabir traditionally claimed that their Jewish ancestors arrived in Somalia prior to the major noble Somali clans. While Somali clans commonly trace their paternal lineage to 9th century Arabian ancestors, some scholars have suggested that Dawood and Isaac were only founded in the 13th century. If this is true, then the Yabir are also likely to be older than the two Somali clans. That is because the Yabir were presumably already established as a powerful group in Somalia by the time of Muhammad Hanif in the 13th century. So here we go looking at some of these Yabir Hebrews. The Yabir, also referred to as Yibir, Yabir, or Yahar, are Somali people. They traditionally have been endogamous, meaning they stay within themselves. They intermarry. They don't marry outside their ethnic group, and their hereditary occupation has been as magicians, leatherwork, dispensing traditional medicine, and making amulets. We're gonna see amulets is a big part of Israelites, culture, whether it was for good or bad purposes. But we definitely will see that. The Yabir have a language they keep secret from the ruling Somali clans. Although Muslims and ethnically similar to other Somalis, the Yabir caste have been traditionally denigrated, demeaned, and discriminated against by higher social strata of the Somali society. And this right here is just talking about some of the civil wars that they've been through, and how they, like all Israelites, have in certain parts of history and time been oppressed. Speaking of like what some of them do, like they're magicians, metalsmiths. The Yabir are known for their skill in blacksmith, making iron tools and weaponry. Historically, the Yabir have practiced a diversity of peddling trades, such as folk medicine, spirituality, and magic. As part of their traditional professional practices, they made and sold varieties of herbal medicines, performed traditional surgery involving circumcision, and specialized in the treatment of bone fractures. Midwife is also popular amongst them. So these aren't pictures I just grabbed off the internet. These are true Yabir people. Yabir. These are the actual people. So, like I said, that's one example of the dispersion that we saw of the Israelites. Now, like I said, the kingdom of Damat and the consequences of its dissolution is that it created two separate Israelite kingdoms, Axum and Simeon, with the latter being slowly attrition until totally wiped out in the 16th century. Now, with the population, I have right here over 500,000. I have sources that state that they had armies of tens of thousands. So I will say that. So where did these people go? I say it's the Falada people. I'll show cultural and symptomatic ties of the Falada and the Falasha people. I will also show one of the great empires of the Middle Ages, Mali, to be in fact of Israelite origin and extraction. So those are the Yabir people we see that go into Somalia. And now we're going to go, as it says, westward. And, how I posit that the Falasha became the Falada people. Now, in this book, in dissertation by Tanya Swartz, she says the Solomonic kings, the dynasty which started in 1270 and traced its descent from King Solomon into the ancient Ethiopian kingdom of Ascom, set out to impose hegemony on all the independent peoples, including the Ahu, which is Yahud populations of the Ethiopian highlands. The Beta Israel, who were geographically dispersed and politically divided at the time, rebelled and resisted conversion. In response to this external threat, the religious basis of the group was strengthened, and the centralized and relatively unified political organization was established by the 16th century. However, by the early 17th century, they were totally defeated and lost their independence. I'm sorry, let me go back. Emperor Yeshak, 1413-1430, reign was a significant period in the history of Beta Israel because it marked the beginning of their dislocation and loss of land rights. The emperor is said to have decreed, "He who is baptized in the Christian religion may inherit the land of his father. Otherwise, let him be a Phalassi, a landless person, a wanderer." A later scribe added the comment, "Since then, the Beta Israel have been called Phalash." The Beta Israel responded by either converting to Christianity or migrating to areas of poor quality farmland which were vacant. Now, one of the things that I had to come to understand is that Ethiopia in the past was actually much bigger than we're taught. Just like how we see on the maps, the globe maps, that Africa is real small compared to the other countries, when in all actuality, you can fit all of the continents into Africa pretty much. That's the same case with Ethiopia. So let's just go here. And I'll read right here. It says, it's kind of hard to see. It says the first thing to be taken notice of is that the name of Ethiopia is very comprehensive, as including all those regions which inhabitants are black, who are called Ethiopians. So basically, it's hard to see, but this saying that Ethiopia basically stretches from the Red Sea all the way to the coast, the Atlantic coast. And it says it right here. I mean, I wish I can blow it up a little bit more. It says, but yeah, pretty much that's what it's saying. The name of the book would be, that I will have to get. This one I don't have source. Excuse me on that one. But yeah, so like I say, I posit that the people that we know as the Fulada Umburu are what I would say are the Falasha people. Now, the Fulada Umburu, who entered into the record 15th century, originally came from West Africa and resettled in the Blue Nile in the beginning of the 1950s. So it's saying that they come from West Africa, but they resettled in the Blue Nile. They were permitted by the indigenous tribes to use the natural resources. The Fulada Umburu actually consists of several ethnic groups which have their own local language, religion, and native homeland. Originally from West African countries, including Mali, Mauritania, Cameroon, Nigeria. Fulada live in the forested savanna plains between El Obeid and Ad Dumza, the Blue Nile. So we'll see that these Fulada people, just as the Falasha, were ostracized. It says operating in varying tribal makeups from peaceful settlers, marauding or encroaching invaders, the Fulada people are littered throughout 15th to 19th century historical accounts of dotted all along East, Central, and West Africa. When you investigate the Fulada people, you see a Semitic people that the world at large has no concrete knowledge of their origins. In an article from Al Jazeera speaking on the trials and tribulations of the Fulada people, Nazarene Geet states, they are vulnerable, the World Vision, Food Security and Development Officer told Al Jazeera, because nobody understands who they are or has investigated their movements. The war in this country affects them and they need help. but they need to be stable so NGOs can build a relationship with them. Amadou Hampatabe, he was a Malian writer, and he just spoke of the Fulani being actually in comparison with the Yuhadin, in as far as they, before the creation of Israel, are dispersed in many countries, not basically saying they are Israelites, but they have the same disposition, rather. Now, what's one of the most interesting things I found about the Fulani people is that they actually have the same way of life that the Torah has. Central to the Fulani people lifestyle is a code of behavior known as puluku, which is passed on by each generation as high moral values of the Wudabu, which enable them to maintain their identity across boundaries and changes of lifestyle. Essentially viewed as what makes a person Fulani, Puluka includes Munyao, which is patience, Gachi, which is modesty, Hakil, which is wisdom, hospitality, and Sagada. And we see that it's Fulani Pulugu, and it's translated as Puluku, which means Falada pathways. Now, anthropologically looking at that, we can see Halakha, and Halakha means the way. So that's one thing to note, the similarities that are real strong with the Israelites and some African traditions that we see. So Israel has been in Africa since the beginning of post-classical history. Hebrew names, city, kingdoms have been associated with Africa since the first mention of nation states like Ghana and Cameroon. So I just brought up the Limba, the Ghana, and the Dan, and we see here the Mali. Now, in the 12th century, El-Idrisi, he states that the inhabitants of the country of Cameroon, according to the reports of the merchant, claim to be Jews. This is the 12th century that El-Idrisi is speaking of Israelites in Cameroon. Now we see in Ghana, the kingdom of Ouagadougou, as it were, between southern Sahara desert and the savanna grasslands of Northwest Africa. So Ouagadougou located on major routes of the Trans-Saharan trade network. Let's see about Ghana. In the 12th century, Benjamin Tuder said from Aswan, it's a distance of 12 days to Halum, where there are about 300 Jews. There, people travel in caravan a journey of 50 days through the great desert called Sahara to the land of Zawa, which is Havila in the land of Ghana. In this desert, there are mountains of sand, and when the wind rises, it covers the caravans with the sand, and many die from suffocation. Those that escape bring back with them copper, wheat, fruit, all manner of lentils, and salt. And from there they bring gold, all kind of jewels. This is in the land of Cush, which is on the western confines. From Hulun is 13 journeys to Cush, which is Cush. And this is the commencement of the land of Egypt. At Cush, there are 300 Jews. Now, when we see, my namesake, Gideon, was a military leader, judge, prophet, who had a victory over the Midianites. I like to look at the story of the Greeks when they did the 300, when all of them died. Gideon had the same 300, but they survived. Now, when we look at this word Gideon, it comes from Gada, and this is the form transliteration and what it means. It means to cut asunder, in sunder, down, off, to hew down. Primitive root, to fell a tree, generally to destroy anything, cut asunder, hew down. And we see certain forms, and we see forms transliterations. Wegidi, Wegada, Wagada, Wagada, Wagadu, Wagadu. The kingdom of Ghana, meaning warrior king, properly known as Ouagadougou, was founded around the year 750. It developed in the region between the Senegal and the Niger rivers. The people of Ghana used their ability to make iron swords, spears, and lances to subdue neighboring people and to gain control over West Africa's main trade routes. So again, when we look at that word, we can see that it's, in line with what is said about Ghana, the title being warrior king. Now, in the Tariq al-Fatash, manuscript C, we see that it's speaking of the sons of Israel having wells in the area. And it speaks, I don't want to read all of this, bore you guys, but we can see it's right here. It talks about the sons of Israel and their grandfathers and their wells are there until now. And it's I can't remember how many wells it was, but it's in this source right here. So we see something from the Tariq al-Fatash, and this is something about the Songhai Empire. This is the history of the Songhai. Now, Leo Africanus in the 16th century, he states, moreover, this part of the world is inhabited, especially Africa, by 5 principal nations, by the people called Kafir or Kafats, that is to say outlaws or lawless, by the Abbasians, the Egyptians, the Arabians, and the Africans or Moors, properly so called, which last are of 2 kinds, namely white or tawny Moors, and Negroes or black, the diversity Moors, of all which nations some are Gentiles, which of religion in Africa worship idols, others of the sect of Muhammad, some others Christian, and some Jewish in religion, the greatest part which people are thought to be descended from Ham, the cursed son of Noah, except some Arabians, the lineage of Sent. Hebrews in West Africa, a particular description of all the known borders, coasts, inlands of Africa. This stating, like, I think this is what I read earlier. Basically the Abbasians have no great knowledge of Nile by reason of the mountains. Now this is something different. For which cause they call the Abini the father of rivers. Howbeit they say that upon Nilus do inhabit 2 great and populous nations, one of Israel toward the west, under the government of a mighty king, the other more southerly, consisting of Amazons or warlike women, whereof we will speak more in our relation of Manapotapa. And this is another one by Leo Africanus speaking of the Jewish law, and some in that area found to be Jews. This is the 1600s. Now, we can go into anthropologically looking into Israelite culture in West Africa and Africa at large. Let's go. We all know what anthropology is. It's the science of human beings, the study of human beings and their ancestors through time and space and in relation to physical character, environmental and social relations, and culture. Now, in the book Travel to Discover the Source of the Nile by James Bruce, I asked them, being from Judea, where they got that language which they spoke, whether it was one of the languages of the nations which they had learned on the coast of the Red Sea. They apprehended, but it was mere conjecture, that the language which they spoke was that of those nations they had found on the Red Sea after their leaving Judea and settling there. And the reason they gave was certainly a pertinent one, that they came into Abyssinia speaking Hebrew with the advantage of having books in that language, but they had now forgot their Hebrew, and it was therefore not probable that they should retain any other language. And in this book, it says, I was informed that the black Jews possessed former copies written on goat skins, and that in the synagogue of the black Jews, there was an old record chest into which decayed copies of their scriptures had been thrown in. I accordingly went to the synagogue with a few of the chief men and examined the contents. The manuscripts were of various kinds on parchments, goat skins, and cotton paper. And this was the book called Christian Researches of Asia with Notices, Translations of the Scriptures, written by Claudius Buchanan in 1813. So again, this is just more anthropological evidence, and we're going to keep going. In the New History of Ethiopia, 17th century, it states that the only copy of the Old Testament which they have is in Ge'ez, the same made use of by the Abyssinian Christians, who are the only scribes, and sell these copies to the Jews. And it is very singular that no controversy or dispute about the text has ever been arisen between the professors of the two religions. They have no caricature or various readings. They never heard of Talmud, Targum, or Kabbalah. Neither have they any fringes or ribbon upon their garments, nor is there, as far as I can learn, one scribe among them. Now, we can see that the people in Africa, so-called ancient African traditions, in some instances are nothing but ancient Israelite traditions. So scarification as a cultural activity is widely performed across Africa. In essence, it is the practice of incising the skin with a sharp instrument. And here we have two sources, one from the 10th century and one from the 12th century, speaking of Jews scarring themselves. Now let's keep this in mind. Scarification is a sin. It's a sin to scar your body. But with that said, Israelites have free will and they have a choice to do what they want. And they chose, which was prophesied and spoken of, that they would go into idolatry and practice idolatry practices. And here we see El Idrisi saying that the residents are Israelites and for the most part immersed in ignorance and impiety. When they reach the age of puberty, they stigmatize their face and temples by means of fire. These are signs which serve to make them recognize themselves and their countrymen. And that's one of the main reasons why Africans use scarification. Marco Polo says there are in it 6 great kings with 6 great kingdoms. And of these 6 kings, there are 3 that are Christian and 3 that are Saracens. But the greatest of all 6 is a Christian, and all the others are subject to him. They are also Jews in the country, and these bear 2 marks, one on either cheek. Now we can see that in Africa, we see the culture that they have with Israelites that matches as far as something called the law of jealousy. In the mission from Cape Cope Castle, Ashanti, with the descriptive account of that kingdom on page 144, it says, and King Apoko's kingdom of Ashanti. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Oh, I gotta go back. Excuse me. All right, yeah, so here we go. So what I'm about to pull up is that I'm about to show that rituals and laws that were practiced in Torah that was given to the Israelites by the Most High, we see that those practices are being practiced in Africa, still to this day. And right now we're going to look at some concerning marriage. Let's go. Page 144, it says, a man and a woman were beheaded on the 7th of this month for an intrigue. The woman was very handsome and the wife of a captain. On their being suspected, both were ordered to drink doom, which choking them, they were immediately executed. And when we look at Numbers 5 and 19, that is speaking of the priest shall charge her by an oath, saying to the woman, basically, if a man thinks his wife is sleeping around, go to the priest and she would drink wormwood. And if she's guilty, she would die on the spot. And that's basically what we see in Numbers 5:19. When he made her drink the water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled and have done trespass against her husband, that water that caused the curse shall enter into her and become bitter, and her belly shall swell, her thighs shall rot, and the woman shall be a curse among her people. This is the law of jealousies when a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband. It keep going. It's one more source. And it says right here, sometimes the belly mo causes a person drinking to drink a large draught of liquor composed of two sorts of a thick bark of the nail and tawny trees, which they reckon a perfect poison. If he be innocent, he will vomit it up immediately. But if guilty, it will foam about his mouth and thereby prove him guilty and punishable with death. I cannot here forbear making this observation, which in my opinion may be acceptable, and is that this drink administered here to women suspected of adultery may be derived and used in imitation of the water called by the Jews of jealousy. See that the Zende people still practice that. Kind of, diluted, but it's still being practiced. Now let's go to some African names in the Bible.
Did you know that there are hundreds of Ghanaian names in the Bible? Yes, hundreds of names of millions of Ghanaians are still in the Bible. It is present in the King James Version as well as the local Akan Bible. Here are some few prominent ones. Please read the Bible quotations that are attached to each name, and you will find that the names often spell the same and mean the same. The first name we'll consider is Anan. This name is
so we're not going to go through all of them. I mean, it's not many, but
I think you get it.
And what we can't say is that they got that from the European, because the Bible names the Europeans got were named like Mary, Joseph, Paul, Peter. They carried on the Greco-Roman translations of those names, where we kept the ancient Old Testament pronunciation and understanding of those names. So basically what I have right here is slave voyages. And what that is during the last 60 years of the slave trade, courts around the Atlantic basins condemned over 2,000 vessels for engaging in the traffic and recorded the details of captives found on board of the ships. Now, these are the people that I'm showing. And I've heard a lot of people say foolishly, and like I said, they either informers or tethers. You know what I'm saying? They say that these ships didn't make it to America, so it don't matter. But when we're looking at the place where we're getting our data from, which is Africa, that's just as a valuable source to use as if they landed on the American shores. So that would be a foolish argument to use. But let's go to these names of the people that they captured. Right here we see Yakuba. And one thing we see a lot is the name Yah in these names that we see. We see Siya. Again, Yah is all over this. Yakuba. Amanya, Yao, Yafa, Yafe. And what we see when we go to the Hebrew, Yafe, beautiful. And as we've seen, that was the name of a woman. So again, anthropologically looking at Israel and Africa, we see so many connections. We see Yara, my good brother Yara, that be coming on the show, you know. Have from the 19th century Israelites in America speaking Hebrew. I mean, everything. In the book that I think I spoke of earlier, a description of the coast of North and South Guinea and Ethiopia, interior, vulgarly Angola, it says, I have shown how much these Africans are subject to superstition and shall add no more but this one particular, that they will not ease themselves at sea unless they be too far from the shore. And when they do it at land, they cover it with earth or fine sand. Deuteronomy 23:13. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon, and it shall be when thou ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig therewith, and shall turn back and cover that which come from thee. Now, I've heard some people make some assumptions that you don't have to tell people and a mass gathering of people that they should do this. But we can see all through history where in some cases you actually literally had to tell people, do not defecate where you sleep. Again, in 16th century, Leo Africanus, to the north of Congo, upon the seacoast, began the kingdom of Luango, tributary in times past to the king of Congo. It abounds with elephants, and the inhabitants, called Brahmas, are circumcised after the Jewish manner. Now, here we can go into the part when I was saying earlier, we use talismans. In the book Geographie d'Idrisi, written by El Idrisi in the 12th century, it speaks of talismans that were in the city of Baghdad. And it says, it is said that the prophet Daniel was buried in the Tusta River. Reports that it was Abu Musa who found the coffin of this prophet. The Jews worshipped him in their synagogues and regarded him as a talisman by means of which they hoped in times of drought. So here we see certain some amulets, grigris, fetishes, which is more associated with when the colonists would describe African, practices, they would kind of use the word fetishes, but these all pretty much are the same thing. So we see all in the Bible that Israel was always warned against not only witchcraft, but they're practicing witchcraft. We seen when I was speaking of the Yabir, they practice spirituality, magic, folk medicine. People, said the Somalis said that the Yabir cursed them. 1 Samuel 28:7. Then Saul said to his servants, seek me a woman that has a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there is a woman that has a familiar spirit at Endor. So these are other verses that it says, when someone tells you consult medium and spiritualists who whisper and mutter, should not a people inquire of their Elohim? Why consult the dead on behalf of the living? These are just verses that speak against, witchcraft. And like I always say, the thing about it is there is only one. There is no different priesthoods, just one priesthood. Now we're going to go to something I found written in 1924. It says the fear of what is styled voodoo charms is much more widely spread in Louisiana than anyone who converses only with educated residents might suppose. And the most familiar superstition of this class is the belief in what I might call pillow magic, which is the supposed art of causing wasting, sickness, or even death by putting certain objects into the pillows of the bed in which the hated person sleeps. Feather pillows are supposed to be particularly well adapted to this kind of witchcraft. It is believed that by secret spells of voodoo can cause some monstrous kind of bird or nondescript animal to shape itself. So it's talking about how practitioners of voodoo would use pillows in carrying out some of their sorcery. Now, let's go to I kind of got ahead of myself. Hold on. Let's go back because I want to show where the Israelites actually used that practice. And we're going to go to it. Let's I'm gonna have to pull it up, but let me pull it up real fast because I don't know how it's not on here. But I'm gonna show you how the Israelites practiced that exact same practice that was written in 1924 New Orleans. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's see. It's Isaiah 50. Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. Ezekiel 13 and 20. Ezekiel 13:20 says, "Wherefore thus says Yahweh Elohim, Behold, I am against your pillows, wherewith you hunt the souls to make them fly, and I will tear them from your arms, and will let the souls go, even the souls that you hunt to make them fly." So we can see even back in the days of Ezekiel, we were practicing witchcraft. And we see that that culture carried on not only in Africa, but landed in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the name of voodoo. Now, we see here that in Ezekiel 21:21, it says that, "For the king of Babylon stood at the parting of the way at the head of the two ways to use divination. He made his arrows bright. He consulted with images. He looked in the liver." Now, let's see what this says.
Now that the people and the cattle are together, it's important to try and get some idea of the future. Some Morsi, like Biobume, have special skill in reading entrails.
And this is from a book called Mission to Cape Coast, Africa, page 229. It's stating there is tradition of several tribes claiming origin from Northeast Africa. For centuries in Africa, Asia, and Europe, as well as rumors and tales of where the 10 lost tribes of Israel are, was the question of ancient scholars from Tertullian to contemporaries such as Dirk Lange, with records speaking of the king of Ghana holding court flanked by 10 horses with golden saddles, along with 10 young men adorned in gold as well. And this is me saying this, possibly an illusion of those same lost tribes. And this is from Al Bakiri on page 229, Mission to Cape Coast, Africa. Again, we have kings ruling over 12 tribes, Torah amongst the tribes. In the same book, Mission to Cape Coast, one curious evidence, however, may be added of the former identity of the Ashanti, Warsaw, Fanti, Akim, Asin, Akumbo, and part of the Ahanta nations, which is a tradition that the whole of these people were originally comprehended in 12 tribes or families. Those Africans of Libya and Numidia worship each particular planet to which they offer prayers and sacrifices. Others of the land of the Negroes worship Guhismo, the Lord of Heaven, which found religion was not given them by any prophet, but was inspired by God himself. The law prevailed amongst them afterwards for many years. Leo Africanus, 16th century, travels to the inland parts of Africa. Again, this is the Tariq el-Fatah. It speaks of a community called the Bani Israel in 1402 that existed in Tandimar, Mali, and it had 333 wells, 7 leaders, army of 1,500 men. And it speaks of other Jewish communities in the region formed by migrations from Morocco, Egypt, and Portugal. Mungo Park in the late 18th century was informed by an Arab near Walada of Jews in Timbuktu. Again, Tariq el-Fatah, manuscript C. Now, let's get into certain peoples, the Akan people and the Sefwi Wiyasu. A Ghanaian named Aaron Tokafria, living in a community of Sefwi Sui in Western Ghana, he said he had a clear connection and many similarities. He saw a clear connection and many similarities between his people practices and those of Judaism. For example, it was a tradition in Sefwi for Saturday to be a day of rest, such a strong tradition that Sefwi that didn't adhere to it were frequently punished. Sefwi also followed the Jewish dietary law restricting the consumption of pork. Members of the community were circumcised in youth. Tokiafaya was first viewed as crazy, but over time his vision became more and more readily accepted. Now, this is a person not stating that they are Israelites. He's just saying that he's seeing a lot of similarities. That's what this source is stating. And again, you see, we came from Israel through Nile, Ghana, and Mali. That's what the Ghanaian chief says, Chief Kofi Nakua II. And these are all the people groups we see in that era: the Yoruba, the Igbo, Fan, the Akan. Now let's go to the Limba. In 586, this is coming from Mushibi Mutinda, Limba scholar, oral historian. In 586, they were captured and brought to Mesopotamia and rescued by the Buba. Arriving in Senna, they eventually left via Pusula in the Great Ocean. Arriving in Africa, they traveled through Mozambique, Zimbabwe, eventually resettling in South Africa. Now let's keep in mind, these people that's coming from the Arabian area, from the Mesopotamian area, from the Israel area, these are black people. These are ancient Israelites who what we will call today sub-Saharan black people. It's the people today that will have us think that we just stayed inside of Africa proper, which isn't the case. At the mouth of the Zambezi, Parfit found the remnants of stone structures in which later he came to find out was a town called Sayun, i.e. Senna, in Mozambique. Located in South Yemen, this abandoned city, according to the indigenous population, was deserted by the inhabitants leaving to Africa, traveling through the Malasula. Also of note is that the inhabitants of the area, according to Tudor Parfit and others, carries the same tribal names as those by the Limba. So he's saying the people in Yemen have the same tribal names as those as in the people at the Limba people, excuse me. Now let's go to the Dan tribe real quick. Now the Dan tribe in the Côte d'Ivoire, we see that these people, you know, they definitely of the Ivory Coast and Liberia. They can be found in Ivory Coast and Liberia. They are known as the Gao people. They're part of the Mande group. Now, one interesting thing about the Dan people, that their language is called the Dan language or the Yakuba language. There are approximately 700,000 members in the group, and their largest settlement is Man, Ivory Coast. Neighboring peoples include the Kran, Capelle, and Mano. They are officially known as Yakuba or Yakuba in Ivory Coast and Liberia. They are also known as Giu, Basa for slave, which is considered a derogatory exonym. Now, this is from Dr. Gideon Robert. He's a scholar of, contempt modern times today. He says the Torah and the traditions of the Ivorian tribe of Dan, the number of coincidences grows when we know something about the beliefs and culture of the tribe of Dan. There are a number of elements that are in line with what we find in Torah and what we know about the early days of the people of Israel. The name of the tribe, Dan. The name of their language is Yakuba. The tribe members call themselves quite often as well Yakuba. The observance of the Shabbat, starting from Friday at sunset till the sunset of Saturday. That day they do not work, and it is the day of offerings. They give it the name Sabiyah. Originally, they were not allowed to walk that day more than a distance of about 7 kilometers. And in old days, the soldiers of the army arrested those working on that day. They believe in one God. They follow nearly exactly the instructions of Leviticus in bringing their offerings. Other elements in their culture that draw the attention are personal names like Atani, Yuva, and the Liverite marriage. And again, this is coming from Dr. Gideon Robert. The original official coat of priests and tribal leaders is long and white with a limited number of vertical blue stripes. They bring their first fruits of their agricultural work to the priests. They have holy places hidden in the woods. The Danites in Ivory Coast do expect a savior who will bring happiness and well-being for them. So that was just a few lookings at the dispersion that we see. Now we're going to go to the Kingdom of Mali real fast. And this is just basically talking about the kingdom of Mali. It's in West Africa. It was founded by Sundiata Keita. And, the reign of Mansa Musa was included in this also. Let's see what we have with this. Now, travels into the inland parts of Africa. It says, in the whole land of Lemlem, there are but 2 small cities, or as it were, villages, and those are Mali, Malel, and Dal, situated at the distance of 4 days' journey from each other. Their inhabitants, as people of their parts relate, are Jews, and indeed most of them unbelieving and ignorant. When any of all the inhabitants of the kingdom of Lamlam comes to have the use of his reason, he is burnt in the face and temples. Again, this is another example of scarification. All their countries and whole dominions is near a certain river flowing into the Nile. So this source right here is speaking of the land of Lemlem, and that's in that area that we see that's in this box. And in the book Geography of the Idrisi, we see that there are only 2 towns in the whole Lemlem which are not larger than towns. One of them is called Melel, Mali, Jew, and the other Dal. They are away from one by 4 days, according to reports. The inhabitants are Jewish, and for the most part, immersed in ignorance and impiety.
All right, hey, Brother Gideon, you got to wind it up. I got Jabari and Dr. Inky and a few. So I want to be
man. So we can wrap it up, man. Like I say, man, we got sources for days over here, bro.
All right, I want to be able to get some questions in here.
Yeah, let's go.
And remember, anybody that have questions, keep it on the presentation that y'all seen. And the new rule is you got 3 strikes. If you talk out of turn without me calling on to you, that's 1 strike. I don't have no friends right now. That goes for everybody. Everybody. You get 3 strikes. You get your 3rd strike, you get kicked out. I'll see you tomorrow or see you on another presentation. But we're going to learn how to respect each other and not talk over everybody. So the question I got for you, Brother Gideon, what is the purpose? What is your goal of this presentation, first of all? To prove what?
Well, what I set out to do, when we come on these spaces or whatnot, I have no problem with what a person believes, what they think is best for them, they people, the dog, the cat, whatever. But my thing is, if we're going to be a responsible people, we got to at least learn how to add. And when I say that, like 1 + 1 is 2. We got to be able to observe facts and not only admit them, but let them be what they are, facts. If you don't like Israelites, if you think the Bible is stupid, that's cool. You can have that opinion. But what you can't say and say you're forwarding knowledge for your people is to say that the Israelites are white people and that they were never in Africa. That's just something that's like you're not making sense then, and we can't have no fruitful conversation. So that's what I'm here for, just to show the facts that the Israelites were in West Africa and they were a black people. That's
they was in North Africa as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a convert Israelite?
Well, when it comes to that, it was a lot of original black Israelites converting black Africans in Africa. So I probably can be a convert, or I may be a Hamite. Straight off, from the Hamitic population. I've told you that before, Si.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking the question.
Yeah, we just don't know. But
you said you might be a Hamite.
Yeah, but what we do know is that the Israelites were black and they were carried off in the Ma'afa into the Western Hemisphere. That's what we do know.
Were there Israelites in Africa 3,000 years ago?
3,000 years ago, which would make 1000 BC. Yeah, if we go to 2 Chronicles chapter 17, we see that Solomon, he establishes ports in Yemen and in Ethiopia with the king of Tyre, and they sets him up even as far as Tarshish, Spain.
There were no Israelites in Africa 3,000 years ago. There was no Judaism, and there was no Christianity, brother.
What would be the date 3,000 years ago?
That would be the 10th century.
That would be 1000 BC. So when we look at 1000 BC,
That would be the 10th century.
yeah, when we look at 1000 BC, we see that Solomon, like I said, according to the scriptures, he established outposts in Ethiopia.
Yeah, but you can't go by the scriptures because the scriptures don't deal with chronology. The scriptures don't deal with dates and times. So I'm telling you, and you can go and Google it, look it up. Anybody that's in the chat, there were no Christianity, there was no Islam, and there was no Judaism in Africa 3,000 years ago. So that's why I asked you the first question, are you a convert? Are you a convert? Because Judaism came into Africa at least 2,300 years ago. And that's when they became converting into Africa. You see? So they've been converting. So any religion that you see in Africa now is all about converting. The Africans had their own traditions and their own way of life and their own quote unquote religions. Go ahead, brother. You can respond.
Again, I'm going by what they say. And what they say is that they've been there since Menelik brought 12,000 Israelites.
And how old is Menelik?
That would be the son of Solomon and Sheba.
And how old is Menelik?
Menelik is about 3,000 years old.
Yeah, that's not in Africa. You're gonna have to see when you make
that's in Ethiopia, sir. That's in
hold on. When you make statements like that, you're gonna have to show a source. And I doubt that you have a source on that.
You go to Kevin the guys. Anybody who's
did you hear what I just said? Show a source on it, brother. That's all. And then I can say, damn, you're right, brother. You got it.
I'll pull it up for you. It's in the Kevin the guys. But yeah,
okay.
Book of Kings talk about Menelik leaving Jerusalem and coming to Ethiopia to stay there. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Why you don't use the African Bible? And were the Africans using the King James Bible? Or was they using the Ethiopian Bible? Being that you saying that, it started in Ethiopia, they were Ethiopian Israelites and stuff like that. Why they don't use the Ethiopian Bible?
Well, I mean, the Ethiopian church as we see it today is corrupt as well. So, I mean, it basically says the same thing in both books, so it doesn't really matter.
So you read the Ethiopian Bible in its purest form? So
I've had one, but I can't read yet.
So are you saying King James just copied from the Ethiopian Bible?
Yes, if it was different in content, the whole world would know it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So King James copied from the Ethiopian Bible. Okay.
You're looking at it as you can't.
No, that's what I'm asking you, and you agreeing.
Yeah, no, I didn't copy from the King James. King James wasn't in existence when the Ethiopian Bible was written. That's from an earlier tradition.
So as you begin to state and break down the names of the Israelites in Africa, where are the African names? Because you were saying, like my brother Yara, like these brothers was like these names was in Africa.
Yeah.
Was these names in Africa, you saying?
Yeah, that was coming.
It's like they had names like Tazariak and all of that stuff.
Well, I don't know about what they call that, the Lashon Kadash. I don't know about that language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
All right. You do know, this is my last question for you, and then I'll open up the panel. You do know, brother, that in every nation created its own God. Do you know that? And that's the reason why God looks like them. The Chinese look like them. The Korean God look like them. The white man gods look like them. You do know that, right, brother? Like every nation had their own God and created their own God.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Nations created their own gods. But
all right, what about the African nation? What about the African nation? Did they create their own God?
Yeah, they created gods as well.
Okay, so you just agreed that God was created by man. Thank you, brother. We're gonna move on. Let me open up the panel. Now I'm
I'm
gonna
not even gonna try to fight that one. So I'm gonna get
yeah, you can't fight that.
yeah, 'cause you just go.
I got you on that.
Yeah.
I caught you on that. So yeah, man created God, like I said, and that's real though, brother Gideon. No joking.
Nah,
No
man
joking.
creates gods every day, man. They do that all the time.
Okay. So like I'm gonna state it again. I see King J in the building. Mandinka, you all get 3 strikes. You talk out of turn, you get kicked out. That's for everybody. Everybody. Even though Mandinka's on the team now, when he doing his own show, he do it the way he want. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're gonna open up the floor. We got Elder Suntan here first. Suntan, you got the mic, brother. You have any questions pertaining to the lecture that he just did?
Yeah, I took some notes. Peace to the panel. Peace, brother Gideon. Good presentation.
Elder Suntan.
Yeah, my only pushback, and it's just not a pushback, it's just my opinion, and I'm gonna go through my list real quick because we don't have to go back and forth. My list starts at none of the sources look like us, right? No living source. You use Dr. John Henry Clark, then you use another black source. And my thing is, back in antiquity, back when the Bible was presented, you understand all the sources you presented was Europeans. And nothing, no knock at you, because that's what's there. Let me go further down. However, the only European sources, and I find it interesting that our biblical sources, they are European, and I do understand that colonialism could be the only reason why. The reason for no remnants of those people of your sources could be the Hebrews was poor and nomads, and they do have African names in the Bible. So my life, I'm gonna not use anybody else's. My life has been like, I understand the colonialism, and that's what been tampered with all our life, and that's what been hanging over our heads. So why should I take interest in what Europeans trying to teach me about biblical history, which should be ours, but they then took everything else? What makes you think they haven't took this and formatted it the way that they want it to be?
That's a good question, because I'm right with you. Like, what makes us, what makes them valid in what they're saying. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
all I'm saying.
And what they're teaching. And the thing is, this is not what they're teaching. And when I say this is not what they're teaching, there is like the masses of our oppressors. They don't teach this. You got to go deep and find this. Sometimes you got to translate it from different languages. It'd be so far back and so hidden. So what I'm bringing out is what people see, whether they be from Spain, whether they be from Morocco, whether they be from Baghdad, whether they be from the indigenous people themselves. Unfortunately, we don't have enough from the indigenous people. We have things like the Tariq al-Fatash, but that was kind of written with a little bit of Muslim influence, because all of our records were destroyed, not only by the European, but by the Arab before him. So I'm only gathering what I find, and I'm weighing the validity of it.
One more thing, and I'll drop it. Closest we got to a scholar, if we want to go back in time, I would think it's Ivan Sertimat and Sheikh Diop, because they was a little before Dr. Ben and them. I'm saying back in the study, we have Amos Wilson, but we have nobody back in antiquity to tell our story or to back up as a source. So that's what problem I run into it with. So I rest it right there.
No doubt, man. Thank you for watching, and appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, it was good presentation, though. Like I'm saying, I was just looking at the sources, and then none of them look like us.
All right, let me move on over to Apostle Saquon. What up, Apostle? Unmute yourself.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Shalom to Gideon and to the guests and
Shalom,
to the chat.
Apostle. Shalom.
So I asked you if you was a convert, and you answered to the best of your knowledge. Cool. However, I'm not a convert, and I'm here to show that right now. I told Sai that my father history goes back through Portugal. I have a source here that speaks of that. Sai, this was from 1500s, actually 1400s, about what happened in Portugal. This is written by Edgar Shaw in the 1500s. It was revised in the 1700s. He was alive. He was there. He's seen this happening. That's why he was able to write about it in history. In the year 1492, January the 2nd, the Moorish stronghold of Granada surrendered to the armies of King Ferdinand and Queen Elizabeth. For the first time since the year 711, all of Spain was in Christian hands. The decree to expel the Jews from Spain was signed on, the decree to expel the Jews from Spain was signed on March 31st in of the corridors. Who's moving don't move it. I'm reading it.
Ain't nobody moving it. Ain't nobody moving it, bro.
I moved it. I was reading. Okay, y'all not moving it. Let me go back up.
No one have control over your PowerPoint but you.
Okay.
Over your slide.
You're reading it, and all of a sudden it starts moving.
Let me see. Let me see something. Let me see something. Hold on. No, I can't move it. I'm trying to do it now. You see
I don't know who moved it, but let me
you
go.
did it probably by accident.
I didn't touch it.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Somebody's moving the thing now. See? Just did it again. I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I see it moving.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. That's not me. I just want to read this part here. The motive given to the expulsion of the Jews was that it was conceived that they had corrupted the Morenos. The Jews converted. These Jews were converted to Christianity. They were forced to by privately engaging them disorderly to the Christianity and ultimately giving the Jews. Let me move. Now I don't want to move up. Okay, this is crazy. The Jews eclipsed August 1st, 1492. Professor, well, I don't have to read that. In order to satisfy Queen Isabel of Spain, King Manuel of Portugal declared a royal audience expelling the Jews and the Moors from the country in 1496. The Jews who were expelled from Spain, now this is a first source, eyewitness source. Spain and Portugal were scattered throughout the Mediterranean coast. It is estimated that over 100,000 Jews departed from Spain and Portugal during this persecution and expulsion. Some of these Jews went to the northern and western Africa. These Black Jews were innocently, is that innocent? Yeah, go to Africa countries, most of all, because of the less persecuted, and they could assemble themselves easily among the Black tribes. HM. What's this word here? It was give a vivid description of the Portuguese Jews. Birch, Spinoza, middle size, good features, skin somewhat black, black curly hair, long eyebrows, like mine, of the same color, so that one might know by his looks that he was a descendant. He was a descendant himself to take the Jews wherever they desire. Then it goes on to say the areas that they took the Jews. They took the children.
Okay, all right, Apostle. All right.
I'm not reading no more. I'm just winding up. They took the children of 16 years and under to Saint Thomé, forced them into Christianity. Those Jews that refused to be forced to Christianity were hung, murdered, killed, except for the ones that King John of Portugal sent to Africa. Where did he send them? Down right where it says Negro land, Wayuda. That Wayuda is a Portugal word. Okay, and that's where they took us.
All right, all right. Now, Apostle,
King
I have
John,
to tell you
right here, King John.
Apostle, I have to tell you, that's not how you prove your bloodline. That's not how you prove your bloodline by reading somebody else's document. You got to prove your bloodline through your father, through your father's father, through your father's father, and go all the way back and show us when they were. Oh, be quiet, man. While I'm talking, you gonna talk? You're gonna have to prove it like that, not by reading some other documents, brother. You got to prove your bloodline going back from your father to your father's father, all the way back, brother. That's how you prove your bloodline. You are not a bloodline Israelite. You can fool yourself and shake yourself up and believe that, but you are a convert like everybody else is. You are a convert. Go ahead.
I'm not a convert.
You don't know that, though, Scott.
I'm not a convert. I showed you my father's generation. It goes back to Portugal. I showed you that. So how did they get to Africa if they come in?
You ain't show me your father's. You ain't show me your father's.
The hell if I didn't.
Right now. That's how you prove it.
I showed it already. I'm
show
not
it now. Show it now.
So you got it already on your tape.
No, I don't have it.
You do have it. Just go through your tape. You always going through your tapes, pulling something up about me going on.
Okay.
You do that all the time.
All right. Before I move on, are you finished?
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
All right. 700 black Hebrew children were ruthlessly taken away from their parents in Portugal and transported to the island Saint Thomé off the west coast of Africa. The island is situated near Nigeria, Cameroon, and Gabon. Okay? Period. All you got to do is read Edgar Shaw. This is a primary source that was written in the 1500s. He eyewitnessed this. He went on the campaign. He saw the way they treated him. He saw what was happening. Ain't nobody got sources like this. Okay? Look him up.
That's a strong source, Apostle.
You better believe it, man.
And Elder Apostle.
Yo, JJ, man, man, Dinka, man.
Strike one.
I'm gonna go ahead and unshare because no matter what you show these people, they don't even pay attention to what Gideon, ain't nobody talk about anything.
How old is Judaism, Apostle?
Abraham was about 20 in the
No,
year.
I'm talking about somebody real, brother. You can't, come on, somebody real.
Real. I'm talking about real people.
No, you're not.
Just because you don't believe it, it don't make it true. Not true. I'm talking about real people.
Right, so you making your choice based on absence of evidence.
Right.
Okay.
Again, that's not evidence of absence, sir.
Yeah, but you got to prove your evidence. You got to prove your evidence. If you can't prove your evidence, then that's what we got. Then we say no, it never existed. You got to prove it did.
If you go to any,
if you can't prove that Adam existed, then he never existed. And no scholar on the planet proved that Adam existed. No scholar. Not one.
Check this out. If you accept what scholars do, accept Menaetho's king list, then you have every right to accept the claim that Barossa says that Abraham was a mighty man and he was pretty much a king in Syria.
Yeah.
That's from Barossa.
My last thing to say, I just ordered the Ethiopian Bible, the Gideon Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible, and the oldest Bible that exists, Marcion. And they're going to be here in a couple of days. I just ordered them today.
Hey, who?
I want to get the oldest Bible. That's what I'm interested in. I want to see that
That's
one.
the Marcion.
The Marcion. Okay, I got to order that one.
I got it coming.
All right, let me move on over. No, King J, you came in last, brother. Let me go in Ngolo.
Thanks for letting me share my screen, man.
All right, Ngolo, you got the floor, brother.
Apostle.
How you doing, brother?
Good, brother. What's up?
That's good. This presentation was a quintessential example of YouTube scholarship. No anthropologist would take this presentation seriously. In order to establish that a group migrated or had cultural continuity with another group, you need one, archaeological evidence. You need one, skeletal evidence. You need two, linguistic evidence through comparative linguistics. You need four, genetic evidence. The only people on this presentation that have any sort of genetic evidence with a Levantine population was in fact the Limba people. And they're a small group of people, and when they migrated in, that story has validity to it through genetics. Everything else on here was simply conjecture. This is what happens when you don't conduct objective research. You go in looking for similarities instead of objectively looking at the facts of what's happening with the culture. On numerous occasions, he did not pronounce the names right. And when you see people that aren't pronouncing the names of cultures correctly, it means that they don't have a in-depth knowledge of the culture. So this is just run-of-the-mill YouTube street scholarship. Like you can, if you use these type of lazy standards to identify similarities, you could literally do this to any group of people, demographic on the planet. This presentation proved nothing. These are the same sources that they repeatedly use, the Tariq Al-Fattah, the same people that are coming in having interactions based upon their frame of reference. Of course, if they see some similarity with a group of people that practice Judaism to another group of people, that's their only reference point. What else would they say? And especially the Tariq Al-Fattah, when they coming from a Islamic point of view. And of course, like I said, it's been established that certain people that practice Judaism that were expelled from Morocco, well, not expelled from Morocco, that migrated down from Morocco, that were expelled from Portugal, came down and established some trading communities. That's a historic. I mean, it's not an empirical historical fact, but that's widely accepted by a lot of scholars. As far as what brother Apostle said in regards to, if you have any Portuguese genetic markers, they're not black. So that's, if you have established that you have Portuguese ancestry, the quote unquote Portuguese ancestry is not African. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you.
You can respond, brother Gideon.
Watching the presentation nonetheless, but I do want to start by saying I'm not a geneticist, and I'm willing to bet you not neither. You just pontificating on what you think the information is saying. So with that being said, I'm not even gonna touch nothing genetics or anything, because all that's, even by the people that's supposed to be the most expert in that field, I think they don't know what they're talking about. But there are people that's on here that can dispute what you're saying genetically. But with that being said, I'm not a geneticist. I'm not going into that. Now,
right,
when you say anthropologically speaking, that's where I see you don't know the information, or you haven't even looked at the presentation. You just looked at it for eye candy. So when you're looking at anthropology, you're looking at oral traditions, you're looking at archaeological finds, you're looking at site finds. And when you do that, you'll see several migrations of Israelites across Africa. You see one wave coming in the 1200s with the people from Sinna going into the Limba. And, Elder Suntan was saying how my sources were all Europeans. And I do want to tell him, when you go back and look at it, I probably had as many black people and African scholars that voice their opinion as the European. But as this brother and a lot of brothers do, they run to genetics because that's something that they can appeal to the authority of the white man to. But I'm sticking to what we can read and what we can see. And what we can read and what we can see are the sources starting from the 10th century all the way up until present day, speaking of Israelites being in that area. I have sources, we have archaeological finds that shows Israelites in not only North Africa, but as far as South Africa. So this brother, like I said, you speaking with cognitive dissonance. The sources that are brought were valid sources. Challenge the validity of the sources. And like I say, don't run to genetics because you're not a geneticist. Let's get that understood. But go ahead.
I did see. This is what I'll be talking about. I listed 5 criteria that all anthropologists use to establish genetic and cultural continuity. I'm not genetic, cultural continuity. They use genetics, they use archaeology, they use linguistics through comparative linguistics, and they use the archaeological finds. So again, you're not going to show with the names you showed. It's all of the peoples that you grouped in West Africa. You are not going to comparatively, linguistically find similarities between any language in the Levant. You're not going to find any continuous archaeological finds that are going to show anything of the Levant. There's never been established in history up to this point. It just hasn't happened. Nothing you provided in that presentation displayed that. So I don't know why you just attacked the genetics, because I listed 5 criteria.
Mandinka, let's go. And then I got you, King. Mandinka, you got the floor. Did you hear the presentation?
Great show. And then I got the first strike in HOK history, and I was wrong. So I can't get too much on this show.
You break records, man. You break records, man. That's all right.
I want all my 3 strikes right now. Put me up. No, I'm just joking. But I get into this whole presentation, but me as a researcher, a truth seeker, and a free thinker, there's a lot of information out there that shows the presence of Israelites in West Africa. We can't deny that. I mean, you got people in Ghana, Benin, Nigeria. I mean, there are sub-clans that we know the history. A lot of them say, that a lot of these sub-clans said they come from the East. We're not saying that all of them is Israelites, because we know that they was in the west coast of Africa for 1,000 years. And once they mixed in, you can't tell me that none of them Israelites looked at some of them African women and wasn't mixing and matching. We're not even going to do that. And vice versa. We can't do that, young Angola. You're up and coming young debater. I respect you as far as you remind me of me. You kind of look like a young divine prospect. But what I'm saying is, man, I think this would be a good debate for Gideon and his brother Angola. We could do this right here on the HOK. And I did some research. I went into the sub-clan, so I know that brother Gideon make a point. That's all I had to say.
All right, King J, you got the floor, brother.
Hold on, let me respond right quick.
Oh, go ahead and respond, brother Gideon.
No doubt. Appreciate that, JJ. But I actually do have a presentation on the tribal attrition that we see in Africa, because when we study Africa, we see that there are basically maybe 3 or 4 meta groups that dispersed into the thousands of different tribes we see today. Like the tribe, the tribe that this brother's probably studying, they probably not even 800 years old. Tribes like the Akan, the Fulani, these tribes ain't new. Those civilizations been destroyed. So what he's studying, and he might want to talk to King J, because King J gonna probably tell him a lot of that stuff he about to look into and dive into is a waste of time. So my brother, those tribes that you studying and venerating, those things are new formations. And like I say, appreciate that time you watched to take a look at it, JJ.
So would you be interested in having like a preliminary with the brother? Angola, he thirsty. Not that thirsty, but he hungry.
Child abuse.
We want these new younger guys to get a shine, man. You've been around, Gideon. Give him a chance, man. Like I'd be giving some of these, younger debaters. Would you be interested in giving him a shot at this time after this topic?
It's almost bad as beating up on a woman, but I beat up on a child, a dude. Yeah, we could do it. Let's get in there.
You go, sa.neter. So, sa.neter, what you think? When can we set this up, Angola?
Whenever we ready, we'll get to
Brother,
it.
I'm not entertained.
Yo, brother Angolo.
Strike one.
See how JJ got you into it, man? Come on, brother. Let's move over to King J. It was King J talk. King J, go ahead, brother.
I did take notes, Gideon. First, Apostle, those converso Jews you speak of that actually did take trade.
Who you talking about, Brother Gideon, Apostle?
Apostle. He spoke of the converso Jews.
Okay.
That ended up running the Portuguese ships. That ended up were the ones who did the trade with the Dahomey. So you might want to rethink if you want to claim that lineage. Secondly, Gideon, no primary sources. If you did, I didn't see it. You didn't show migration, and you didn't identify the people group that would be migrating. You did start at the 10th century through 5th century. You mentioned the kingdom of Damat. To my understanding, that is Sabian, a Sabian mixture with indigenous African tribes, not Israelite anything. We do see the worship of a god called Almak, right? It's a Sabian moon god. So unless you're saying that the Israelites are Sabians, I want you to clear that up. I do want you to touch on the Assyrian disbursements because it does mention the Jews being dispersed to Hala, Medes, and Goshen, not South Africa or not West Africa, not into Africa at all. So I want you to touch on that. And
say that last one again.
I want you to touch on the Assyrian disbursement where it talks about the Jews being dispersed into Hala, Medes, and Goshen. Those are countries in Turkey and nowhere into Africa. So I want you to, So I want you to touch on that. And overall, I just want you to touch on the Sabians. And are you saying that the Sabians are the Israelites?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you watching the presentation and putting forth your critiques. I guess I'll work from last because I really can't remember. So as far as the source with the dealing with the Assyrian captivity, that was from Mushivi Lutinda, which was, as what Elder Suntan was asking for, a source not from the white man, that was from them. And that's what the Limba people say, and it's attested to in the book by Tudor Parfit.
But that's hearsay. So that's hearsay. Is there a primary source that shows migration from West Africa to there?
Well, not West Africa, but from Yemen to South Africa. Okay. We can see that in the 1200s they had actually I would have to look at it again, but it was geological.
You gotta let them talk. Let them explain.
It was geological conditions that happened at that time that shows that they made that migration from Yemen to South Africa.
So those would be the Sabians, right?
If you're going to connect them with the Mut, because yes, they were Sabians, but at the same time, that was the kingdom of the Himyarite kingdom as well. Now, the Himyarite kingdom was on both sides of the Red Sea. Now, some people say that the center was on the Yemenite side, but I posit that it's on the African side with the Mut, because we see the earliest Sabian inscriptions are on the African continent, not the Yemenite, not on the Arabian continent.
Now, if you was to ask Sekou, he would tell you no Hemenites, no Yemenites, None of that stuff is in Africa. He will tell you you won't find none of those names in Africa.
Himyarites were real, sir.
Okay.
But so Gideon, real quick, you do know that the ruler of Damat and Saba was been known as like Muka Saba Damat, right? He would have been dual. He would have held the title for both kingdoms, right?
Right. Well, what we see is that in Damat, as far as the archaeological finds that we have,
and they're not Israelites, right? Let's be clear; these aren't Israelites.
No, you definitely is that like again the evidence of the absence of the evidence that I'm saying doesn't prove that, because when we look at the Aksumite Empire, that was something that was formed from an earlier kingdom, and that earlier kingdom I'm saying is the Damat kingdom, and we see the sources that I brought forward. I would have to go back and look at it. It was from the Roman, the Eastern Patriarchs. It was speaking of the kingdom of Damat having these issues, and you can see it split. And I would have to go back to that. And that's where we see the kingdom of Aksum splitting from the kingdom of what we call the Simeon dynasty.
But that would push that back to where Israelites would be in Egypt some damn where around, right? They wouldn't even be nowhere in Africa at that point. Like, and you have to show migration. You have to show migration from the Levant into Nubia, into Africa. Like, I don't see any disbursements, ancient disbursements at all. Like, I'm really thinking, like, I don't. Like,
now, again, if we follow the train of thought that Elder Suntan has, that we go by what the people say, and you don't label it as hearsay because you just say it's something that a Limba scholar, a Limba priest says himself, you label that as hearsay. So
it is.
So as Elder Suntan says, the people themselves state this. When you go to like the Book of Kings, the Keber Nagas, they state that the Israelites were in East Africa as early as 1200 BC. So
all right. No, King J. Hey, Harwin, did you see the presentation, brother?
I did. I seen a good amount of it, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You up next. And then we're gonna go to the people who raised their hand. I see you, Apostle. That's why I tell y'all to cut your cameras on if y'all want to ask your next question. So
I just wanted to respond to what he said about my presentation, what I showed.
All right. Apostle.
Strike one.
All right. Go ahead, Harwin.
Salute, sir. I appreciate you letting me on again. Salute to the panel. Brother, I'm not gonna get on you too much like how these other brothers are getting on you.
Shalom.
I'm gonna point out. Yeah, I'm not an Israelite, but I'm gonna point out some positive, some good things you said. When you brought up the Basa, I think you said Ad Basa though, but when you brought that up, that was a good point. And to the Elder Suntan's point when he's talking to you about African sources, hey man, go into those people and see what they say. Now you did just mention what the Limba say, and brother King J brought up some good points too, but he said that is hearsay. And academia or traditions isn't necessarily hearsay. So to the brother King J and Golo, there's other forms other than just genetics. Genetics even has holes in it because the European scholars are really biased in their database with how they test the knowledge and what populations they test these haplogroups with. So we got to test those things on our own. We can't just take that for face value. So genetics isn't some hard staunch thing that's just like super empirical. It's not. You got to take all of it together along with oral traditions, which is a form of source of evidence. It's not just typical hearsay, but you can't just take it alone. You got to mix that with some text. And to Sa's point, it can't just be the biblical text, because then you're going to have to show some original text. And that was my question for Tazariak and my question for Apostle. If you say you don't deal with the Masoretic text, then you got to go. And like Apostle just said that he got a Dead Sea Scrolls. You're going to get a Dead Sea Scrolls, you're going to show us this alleged, I'm going to say alleged Paleo Hebrew because I think it's a misnomer, but we're going to say Paleo Hebrew for now. This Paleo Hebrew text, where is it to substantiate it and couple with that? and actually quote those people and what they say, and then couple that with the archaeology and the oral traditions that they say, and the anthropology, etc. There's other aspects of it, you know what I mean? Even like actual text, like you ask an Egyptian or somebody that studies ancient Kemet, you can go to the actual text, like we can see it on the walls. That's a source, you know what I mean?
I see you, Ngolo. You can put your hand down, Apostle. I see you.
Yeah, no doubt, my brother. That's a good point, you know, and we definitely need to take into what's being said by the people that's on the ground as well. So I definitely agree with what you said. You know, and you say you're not an Israelite, but shalom to you still. You know, yeah, I don't rely heavily on genetics because, like I say, the people that's the leaders in that industry, I feel that they don't fully have a grasp on it totally. So, you know, when I hear people speak on genetics, I feel that that's just, you know, a way that they can back out of the argument when all the other fields of discipline is showing them otherwise. So yeah, I you know, appreciate you watching it, bro, and you know, peace to you still.
Can I respond to what he said, Sa, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't want to get no strike. But I don't want you to misunderstand me though. The brother Ngolo still made some good points. Brother King J made some good points, and especially when he brought up that Sabian thing. You got to go into that, then go into the book of Genesis and see what they talk about with the tribes of Cush, but and all that. But then you're gonna have to admit that y'all just related to the Hamites, and y'all want to make it seem like y'all separate. So my question to I know King J probably like that, but my question to Apostle and Captain Tazariak is, because Tazariak was talking about the Africans, I didn't get a chance to address that. He said, name one time the Africans helped them. Well, according to y'all text, Taharka helped y'all when the Assyrians was whooping on you. Cap ain't mentioned that. And Taharka is an actual historical figure. I'm gonna leave it.
Wow. All right. All right. We're gonna move on over to Apostle. I see you, and then Ngolo, I see you. Apostle, go ahead. You got the floor, brother.
All right. The second time, either King J got a comprehension problem, or he just outright lie after you show things. Because what I showed is a primary source, and the converting was Jews being forced to convert to Christianity. That's why I grew up as a Christian, because my forefathers were forced to Christianity. So they were converted from Judaism to Christianity. Now, unless you got something that can say my source, that primary source that was written in 1500 by Edgar Shaw is wrong, you need to shut your mouth up. I got you already. I got the tape loaded with me and Morpheus, and you saying, like, you was in the program. You wasn't even on the show when Morpheus said that Mark made a boo-boo because the text wasn't in Isaiah. It was in Malachi. Mark made a boo-boo. That's what he said. He changed it after I showed him that it was in Isaiah. Then he changed it, but not before. Before, he was saying it wasn't in Isaiah. It's a lie. Mark boo-boo. All right? And you took up for Morpheus like you was there. And you saw it. And you're not even in the show. So, man, you're just an outright liar, or your comprehension is just slow, man. I'm here. If you want to challenge anything that I say, we can debate it. I'm saying that to Kim. If he got anything that he want to talk about, we can debate it.
Apostle getting bold, man.
And I'm saying it to
calling
Zion.
niggas out now, man.
If Zion
and Apostle
want to have that debate, rather the Prime Minister of Ethiopia show this. This year, I got this done when I was in Jamaica by some Rastas. This is Haile Selassie. That's what this represents. The Haile Selassie moving the nation from the darkness to light. The dark is just a little bit. The light is overcoming it. But if Zion is saying that he is Hamashiach, I debate that with Zion. So that's Zion, that's Kim, Kim, and you, JJ, I mean, not JJ, you, King J.
Damn.
You keep running your mouth.
Woo!
About things that I present.
Apostle eating his Wheaties.
All right?
He eating his Wheaties now, boy. He ain't playing. So Apostle,
remember what I said.
Hey, Apostle, question, brother.
From Judaism to Christianity. Okay, John. So go ahead.
Question, Apostle. You said that you were forced to convert to Christianity. Who forced your fathers to convert to Christianity? Who was it? Read it. Just tell me.
King John.
So King John forced your family. King John forced the black family to convert to Christianity.
The black Jews of Spain and Portugal to convert to Christianity, Catholicism. Yes.
Okay.
That's what do you think that was up the Inquisition was about? The Inquisition was about the paper bulls and dumb down verses.
Now it's starting to sound like the European Jews and Hitler and how they was forced to convert to Christianity as well. So this sounds a little similar.
Hitler did not force the Jews to convert. He just destroyed them.
No, a lot of them had to hide their religion. A lot of them had to say they was not
right.
Yeah.
They didn't have, but they wasn't converted. He knew that the black people were the Jews. He told them that. They were occupied, they were taken out of.
Ooh, that's deep, Apostle.
Yeah, that's what Hitler did. They were originally Germans. They were just like Hitler. They were Germans. That's where Yiddish come from. Ashkenazi. He's a German.
Okay.
The language he speaks is a Hebrew German dialect. It's called Yiddish. That's what the Masoretic is based on. Yiddish.
No highlighting. All right, let me go to Ngolo. Ngolo was next, Apostle.
Yeah.
Yeah, people keep getting like, I don't know what it is. Like I didn't mention solely genetics. That was just one of the criteria that I laid that anthropologists use to determine whether a culture had cultural continuity to establish whether they migrated or didn't. The main source that I lean on is I would use comparative linguistics. To me, that establishes ties culturally. And when you look at comparative linguistics, African languages, especially West African languages, are tonal. The way we conjugate verbs, all of the intricate details of language are completely diametrically opposed to anything in the Levant. So it doesn't tie in. That's what I'm saying. Like, people got to stop coming on here doing surface level research. And that's why I wouldn't even entertain a debate with, like, this is really fallacious nonsense, this postulation. Like, that's all I got to say.
Okay, Mandinka, you got it, Mandinka. Hey, before you go, Mandinka, King J, you accept Apostle's challenge, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, Mandinka gonna set that up and bring y'all over to the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Hey, Si, one other thing. I'm expecting to start getting paid. Everybody getting paid but me. I did all of these debates free.
You got to work your way up to the pay level.
I'm already up to the pay level.
You got to at least. All right, let me tell you how you gonna get paid. Hold on, y'all. Let me tell you how you get paid, Apostle. If you get 25 people that bought tickets, they got to say, I'm here for Apostle. They got to show me that you put them in them seats.
You don't do that for nobody else.
No, but I want to see if people are going to pay to get to buy a ticket.
If they don't pay, then they don't pay.
But this is not going to be a paid debate, though. This is not going to be a paid debate.
Not with Jay, but if it's with Kim or Zion, I want to get paid.
Zion, what Zion you talking about?
What Zion you think I'm talking about?
War child.
War child.
Nah. That's gonna be a JJ on the Coliseum debate.
I don't care where it's at. I'm getting
Hey,
paid.
listen, Elder, let me help you out because this is my discussion channel.
Go ahead. This is on
And
you.
we're gonna be able to get you 25 people. I'm gonna help you sell tickets. I'm gonna help you sell tickets. Don't even worry about it. If we decide to go that route, now his opponent would have to sell 25 tickets. That's how we do that. This information, man, it just can't. We just can't keep doing this, and a lot of us spend time researching and putting the PowerPoints together or promoting it. So I mean, come on, like I say, each one teach one, reach one, reach one. We got to reach out and help each other, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing like super chats now instead of just putting your comment up. I mean, start off $1 and up, man. Come on, man. I mean, come on, y'all. We trying to make the channel grow. And I'm into marketing and things of that nature. Well, my daughter is, but I'm a marketer myself because I'm a promoter, just like sa.neter or anybody else that's running the league. So, but my question is, I'm gonna say one thing. Apostle is absolutely right. And if y'all go back into the archives, when me and Pastor Bennett had our debate over here, I brought that out. Yes, they did try to force them to become Christians. And if you didn't convert, it was like get out and lay down. They called them auto-dephase. They will burn you to the stake. You hear me, ladies and gentlemen? I can re-show that video. I brought that out in that debate. So what apostles, and I got a couple of brothers. I got JT. He listening right now. I think he going to come on. He can trace his lineage back to Spain and Portugal. So we can't deny real history just because we don't, because Tazariak and these camps gave Israelites a real bad name. Are you?
Hey, I hope my brother, indigenous black man, is not blocked on the HOK Coliseum. He said he's blocked on the HOK. I'll go and check it out. If you are, I will release you. But if they did, JJ or me, we didn't do it. It could have been a moderator, and you probably said something crazy and they hit you. That's how it works. So we'll check that out. Let me go to King J. Did you have your hand up?
Let me respond. I want to respond to three people.
All right, hold on. Let Brother Gideon respond. It's his show. And I see you, Herwin. I see you.
Yeah. So to the brother at the bottom in the call. Like I said, man, as far as what you were saying about Tazariak and all them, yeah, I mean, the formation of the Israelites, when you look at them, they was formed when you see Semitic and Cushitic people coming together. And that was the formulation of the Israelite people. So, we can go through the whole history. I mean, Israelites were more in line with Nubia than the Egyptians were. I mean, because when you look at Amos and Kamos, when they was fighting the Nubians, it was the Israelites that were, or rather the Semitic people that were allies with them. So the Semitic people been down with the Nubians fighting against the Egyptians for a long time. And even the Egyptians were in allies with the Israelites when it came to people like the Assyrians. So, black fought black all the time. So that's the point that's being made, where people who have subjective, biases, they want to isolate Israelites fighting black people as if it's like black and white when it's just black versus black. Now, to Apostle, see, you gotta watch King J, because King J, he just not gonna fly off the handle and just have you throw him out the window, because he just not gonna say anything out of his mouth. What he said was, and I'm just speaking of this instance right here, he said those people that you are claiming sold Africans or sold your people. Now, what's the point? Because if you a Hamite, you were sold by a Hamite. That don't make you not a Hamite, and that don't make the Israelites not black. So King J, he, in some instances, he kind of have a little sense about himself. So he ain't gonna just jump out the window. He just gonna throw some bait and he gonna see if you gonna bite it. Now, as for the young fella at the bottom, it's funny that he want to come out and go from being a geneticist to a linguist now, when my whole presentation only had one point about a linguistic connection with the Israelites to Africa. Do you know what that was?
The only thing in the presentation that I saw that you attempted to connect to linguistics was the names. Everything, I didn't see anything else that
And what point of what specific point of that?
you every time you seen something with Yah in it, you tried to correlate that to them having a connection to Israelite.
Okay, well, you speaking of the names. Well, if you was looking at that, you would see how several of those names that they had, it correlated with the Hebrew names when I brought up the concordance. Now, like I say, that's
But that's not how you do linguistics, brother.
that's something very surface level. You can't. That's something that you can't say that it's not. Just as
Brother,
much.
that's not how you do
Hold on.
comparative
Just as
linguistics.
much as I can say that is, you can say that it's not.
No,
But
you can't.
what I can't respect though, and what
I'll
obviously
take a strike
you
for this one. I'll take a strike for this one. But I'm gonna take a strike and butt in and say, look,
No. Angola.
Strike 2.
Go ahead, brother Gideon.
he got his first one running from a debate, and he got his second one trying to engage in one. Boy, that's cool. So listen here, bro. What I'm saying is the points that I brought up. That's what I want you to focus on. Now, if you want to focus on that part, that shows that you really don't want no smoke, because, like I say, that's something that I can argue that it is, and you can argue that it ain't. Look at the stuff that I brought out. Even as far as linguistics, that's not even the most deepest thing that I brought out linguistically. The name Ghana, what language is that?
Ghana is Arabic. Ghana is not what they called the empire. It was Ouagadougou.
I said what
Ga-
language? What
Ghana,
language? What language? I'm going
the
slow.
language,
What language?
the language that Ghana is in it's an Arabic it's an Arabic mispronunciation of the Ghana, how they pronounce the
No, it's not.
king.
Let me let you know.
Yes, it
Ghana
is.
is a Saniki. That's where it comes from. The
No,
Saniki.
it's not.
So when you're saying Arabic and all that, those people been there presumably since like the 4th century, a couple hundred years before Arab invasion. So that's what I'm saying, bro. You're not even a linguist when it comes to look at it. I'm saying what I presented, what in there that you seen that wasn't sufficient to it being stated as not only a
Brother.
primary source, but evidence of the people being there. Point in fact, just even on the migration, you talked about migration. When I'm speaking of migratory patterns, or the one specifically, that's just one of the dozens that occurred. We can even see the interland migration, meaning from Ethiopia westward with the expulsion of the Philashas. So, like I say, my brother, just look at it again, and that was a good answer that you don't debate, because that's a good look for you. But go ahead, what you want to say?
Hey, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about. Ghana, the word Ghana is a Arabic mistranslation of a Soninke word for the king. And not even it's the term for the king. It has nothing to do with. It's not an indigenous term. That's not what they called the land. That's not what they called the kingdom. It was Ouagadougou. They're referring to Ouagadougou. It's not Ghana. You don't know what. See, and this is you saying that you can argue that that it can be that. No, comparative linguistics is a discipline. It's a methodology that you have to use. You can't use the methodology that you were using to postulate that is that there's a linguistic tie just because something has Yah in it and it connects. You say it means something in that language. That's what I'm saying. Wait, debate. I'm not finished speaking. I'm not finished speaking.
Arguing the slave voyage. I'm not even. You going from Soninke words to the slave voyage. You all over the place, bro.
No, you mentioned both of them. But you mentioned both. I'm not all over the place, brother. Either first of all, the population.
I'm not even, like I said, I didn't even mention the slave.
Hold on, brother Gideon. You got to let him finish. He's trying to finish.
I didn't say that you just directly did. I'm saying that the only time that you use linguistics that I saw in the presentation was that quote unquote slave voyages thing that you try to correlate. But again, in comparative linguistics, that's fallacious. When you're talking about Ghana, you didn't even know that that's an Arabic mispronunciation of the word because they couldn't properly pronounce the term of the king. It had the people. That's an exonym term. The people themselves did not refer to their kingdom as Ghana. It's Ouagadougou.
All right, we're gonna move on. King J, go ahead, King J, and then I'm gonna go with Harwin.
I did. Gideon nailed it right on the head. That's exactly my point. What I'm trying to make to Apostle. I don't disagree with the conversion, Apostle. My point is that so the word you should want to look at is asiento de negro, right? Asiento de negro, right? Do you know what that is? What it means, Apostle?
What it mean, brother? What it mean? You talking, not Apostle.
It gave the ability of these new Christians to supply slaves, right? To the Spanish colonies. Asiento de Negro, right? So this is the interaction between these conversos that apostles say he is, right? So apostle, I would ask you, like names like Rodriguez, right? Mendez, right? These are the exact people who had a hand in the slave trade, right? Do you have lineage Mendez, right? You got some Mendez in you? So I'm just saying, these you don't, Apostle, you don't want to be aligned with these people. They were the ones who sold us into slavery. So if this is if this is the
Let him
topic of
finish,
the debate,
Apostle. You can answer.
if this is what you want to stand on, yeah, I do want to debate you on this topic, Apostle.
Okay. What I'm standing on is the fact that my father, hold on. I'm gonna share my screen, sir.
What was your father's name again?
You see, because I'm pulling him up.
Apostle tired of y'all, man. Y'all better stop challenging him, man.
Homer Lavelle Rogers. That's my father.
Lavelle Rogers.
Trying to get a bigger picture of him.
What happened? What's his natural name, Apostle?
That's his name. I mean, his name is his father is his senior.
Yeah, what's your grandfather name?
Senior.
What's your
Homer
grandfather
Lavelle
name, Apostle?
It's Homer Lavelle Rogers.
What's your grandfather name, Apostle?
Is Will Rogers. My grand.
So
Listen,
I thought you was a bloodline Israelite. Shit, I'm waiting to get to the Israelite name. Where's the Israelite names in your family background?
6 generations back, sir.
So can you go back?
Into that. When it gets into, no, I can't go back on that.
Well, you do have a DNA test that you showed.
Yeah.
You take it all the way back there, right?
I'm showing you what I'm showing you, sir. We got to figure out, you want to know United States Census records.
If you can't show me your DNA, Apostle, I'm going to think you're lying, bro. I'm going to think you're lying, Apostle.
But why? Oh, shit.
Let me
I'm going to think you're lying, Apostle, because you do have your DNA. And all you got to do is show it, and then it'll take you back. Show us when the name changed. Because if you don't want to do that, then I'm not going to take you serious. I'm going to think you're lying.
You don't have to take me serious. You can think I'm lying. What'd that say?
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
I can see it, but I can't see it. It's little.
Homer Lavelle Rogers. Gender, male. Race, Negro. Black. Age, 31. Relation, drafting. Self, head. Birth date, 1909. That's my father. Light brown, complexion. Hair color, black. Eyes, brown. The same thing they read. Black curly hair. The same kind of hair I got. Bushy eyebrows. The same kind of eyebrows I got. When I get my hair cut, I get my eyebrows because they bushy.
You get your eyebrows trimmed and all that?
I get them cut. I have to.
You get them trimmed up?
I get them cut at the barbershop.
Right. Trim, right? You get them trimmed.
I get them cut.
All right.
Nigga,
all right, Apostle.
I get them cut. I don't look like my boy used to get his eyebrows done. That ain't me.
Well, when I was younger, I used to get the 3 cuts in the eyebrow.
Yeah, well,
I used to walk around with 3 cuts, and that was the thing in Harlem.
My father, okay, and I'm gonna continue. I'll show you. So I mean, that's my father. I'm gonna go back to the beginning.
You don't look like him, Apostle.
Huh?
You don't look like him.
Well, do I look like her?
I can't. No, you got to blow it up a little bit.
Do I look like her?
Yes, you do.
That's my niece. That's
Yeah,
my brother's daughter.
You do.
And I'm not showing no more of that. That's it.
Right.
I don't want to give people privacy. So that's my niece, my brother's daughter.
I feel you. Niggas on this YouTube is crazy. I feel you.
And the last time I showed, niggas went on.
Oh yeah, that's right, Apostle. That's why. Hold up, Apostle. Hold on. That's why I don't have it on my channel. Remember, you called me and you asked me, "Sir, can you please take that down? Because it got my family stuff up there. I don't want to." And I said, "Yes, I will do that for you."
Yeah,
and
but
I
we did it before that. We
I
did
took it down.
We did it one time before that.
Yeah, but it's not on my channel, Apostle.
No, that was about 2-3 years ago.
It's not on my channel.
On your channel.
But it's not there because remember, you asked me to take it down.
That was the second time, sir.
Oh, so why would you let me leave it up this time? It's not on there, brother.
Well, I'm asking you, I didn't show you as much as I showed you. This time I didn't show you nothing. I just showed you my father.
All I need you to do right now, while you got your chart up, you ain't got to show nothing else. Show us which one have an Israelite name, and then I'll say, all right, Apostle is right.
There's no Israelite name. There's Spanish names, but there's no Israelite name.
Of course, Apostle.
Yeah, I'm just saying, not in this generation, not what you're going to show.
No, it'll take you back, brother. It'll take you back.
How far 7 generations go back in my family? 7 generations. You know what year that is?
What year?
67.
I could go back that far on my chart.
7 generations in my family goes back to my great-great-grandfather.
I could go back that far on my DNA test.
But I can't go further. I can't go back to 1500. I can go back to 1700.
What if you're related to me, Apostle?
By then, they probably in America.
Apostle, we both got Portuguese in our bloodline. What if you're related to me?
That's right. That's right.
What if you're related to me, bro?
Well, not only that, what if you are a Jew, an Israelite?
I'm not an Israelite.
Yeah, you just don't know it.
I'm not an Israelite.
Yeah, right.
No, I come from the the other tribe, man.
You don't know.
Yes, I do know.
Most of y'all don't know.
Yes, I do know, brother.
Until you
I come from the Shinnecock Nation, brother.
Yeah, that's
my grandfather.
To the Cherokee Nation.
That's my grandfather, right there, full-blooded Shinnecock.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Just hold on.
Go ahead, King J. Oh no, King J, you spoke. No, you spoke, King J. Let me go.
Can I respond to the point he just showed? Because he showed this. I just want to say he daggered himself, Apostle.
You got that?
No, I don't have that, Apostle.
Apostle, don't deflect. Let me just make a point on what you just showed. The
Hold on,
let me make a point real quick.
Because other than that, it don't mean nothing.
No, I don't have that, Apostle. Remember, Apostle, I'm just learning this.
Yeah.
So I'm just learning that. You know
what you used to say that this was garbage?
How do I get that, Apostle?
You got to apply to the United States government. All you got to do is show them who your grandfather is.
Okay.
You apply for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Diplomatic immunity. But this is the gun permit.
So, but no, all right, but what does that do? How does that help me, Apostle?
It puts you in eligibility for resources, just like any native can claim. You will be able to claim it.
But can ICE get me then?
Because you're American citizen.
You got a scanner. You got a scan on the back of that card, Apostle.
Got what?
A scanner.
That nigga said the eyes get me.
Turn it back around.
This card says I have diplomatic immunity, man.
Apostle, the minute I go over there and tell them I'm this and that, They go get my ass up out of here.
This right here says right in that box that I got diplomatic immunity.
Nah, I'm fine being the African, brother. I'm fine. I'm good.
This is like my driver's license. This gives me to travel. I don't even use my driver's license no more.
Okay. Okay.
Doesn't I thought diplomatic immunity meant like you can do whatever you want because you from another sovereign country.
Jurisdiction, like right. I'm under a different authority.
So they can't met up. Okay.
Right. Right. Now sometimes it takes to go to court because some of these cops don't know.
All right, Apostle, we're gonna let King J go. Don't get a strike. Go ahead, King J.
I just want to respond real quick. So, Apostle, you show the surname of Rogers, right? You do know before I just said the name Rodriguez, right? Is the lineage that is responsible for the Cinto de Negro, which is the supply of African slaves to the Spanish colonies, right? So you just so what does it mean? Son of Rodrigo, right? Son of Roger. Rogers is son of Rodrigo, and Rodriguez is son of Rodrigo. Same word in Spanish. So you just showed that you have direct lineage to the slave trade, right? Your father is one of the people. You come from the line of the people who enslaved the West Africans, correct?
Wrong. And the fact that my father's last name is Rogers had any more to do with the fact that Gideon showed the word with Yah, like my brother here was saying, that means, yeah. Because see, anybody can say Rogers and then try to incorporate Rodriguez. Nah.
What does it mean? What does it mean, right?
Why you asking me? Show.
It means son of God. It means okay, let me show my screen.
Strike one.
King J, that's strike one, man. Or is it strike two? Because
that's one on him. That's one.
Yeah, you can't be cutting people off.
Had about 4 on by now because the brother Harwin was waiting to speak.
Yeah. I let him go though. I let King J go. I told him. Go ahead, Apostle. Finish.
Yeah, I mean, he gonna pull up because my father's last name is Rogers. One thing you can pull up is about my grandfather, Homer Rogers, and then his father, Will Rogers, in Texas, owned part shares in the Negro Baseball League in Texas. There's a city district in San Antonio, Texas, named after my father. My father was an entrepreneur. He owned 4 businesses. They got a southeast district named after him and a street in San Antonio, Texas. So,
all right, Apostle. Let me let Harwin go. Harwin, you got the floor, brother.
Appreciate it, sir. Hey, brother Gideon, look, I kind of like how you be coming, man. You don't come off as completely disingenuous, but you spent me when you tried to act like the Nubians and Egyptians were just, you can't conflate history because they was fighting sometimes that they wasn't the same people. I argued that ancient Kemet and what we call in Nubia were amalgamation of different tribes of what so-called Black Africans. You know what I mean? So you can't use my argument against the Zaryak to try to act like it was the Nubians just on the Israelite side and then the Egyptians were.
Excuse me.
You bless you. In your text, bro, in the Bible, in Genesis 10, all them still come from Cush according to the Bible. Not saying I agree with that, but I'm just saying. But King J kind of helping you when he mentioned the Sabians. You got to go in on that Sabian thing because, like you said, the oldest text of the Sabians is found in Ethiopia. It's not in Arabia, which goes to my point to the brother Ngolo. Brother Ngolo, I wasn't saying that you only mentioned genetics. I don't know if you was talking to me or the brother Gideon when you said that. I know you mentioned 5 core ways of getting evidence of explaining things, and some of those, I agree with that. I was just saying it's just not all that there is. There's much more. And I agree with you on the language, that historical comparative linguistics, The problem with that is the current form of historical, not the form of the methodology, but the form of linguistics we have for so-called African languages that's in the spread into these Greenberg families, I think is completely pseudo. And they have not done an actual historical comparative linguistics to say this language is not related to this language, Nilo-Saharan and Niger Congo and Khoisan and Afro-Asiatic. Bro, a lot of that come from racist rhetoric. And they got people on here coming on SciShow or even on their own shows claiming Kemet don't mean black, using these same Egyptology's outdated Egyptological opinions. These are all assumptions that these languages not related. So we can't say that these people wasn't in Kemet. You got some people saying that West Central Africans wasn't in Kemet. That's hogwash. Because if you ask them where the Akan war or the Bamileke were 3,000-4,000 years ago, they couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you. It'll be cap. So to the elder Santan point on the language, because I like you when you brought up the language. That's my thing. We gotta stop appealing to consensus. That's a logical fallacy. I don't care if 1 million of it believe it. A lot of people believe in Christianity around the world. That don't make it true. We need to appeal to what we can prove is correct. Appealing to consensus is a logical fallacy, period. Because a lot of people believed a lot of things that we would consider academic, and it was found to be true. Here's an example of one: string theory. Most of the field in academia and physics would think that string theory is a thing, yet there's no experiment that can prove their hypothesis at all. Even Ed Witten, who's one of the major string theorists, would admit that their theory is incomplete. So appealing to consensus is not that. We got to do what Elder Santan said and go to our elders and go to those people. So Santan, when you go to Sheikh on a joke, when you go to Joke, and when you go to Theophil Obenga, they are directly contradicting what the European scientists and their European linguistics. And I'm gonna call it European linguistics because Sekou said something wild like there's no African science. That's crazy. I ain't gonna go too much in on them, but that's crazy. But that they use their form of science that's being debunked in current modern times, and they use their linguistics that's being debunked. And we want to take theirs just because it's consensus when it can be wrong. When Theophil Obenga showed consistencies between Central and West African so-called Niger Congo languages with ancient Egyptian. So I agree with you, Ngolo, on the language thing. We just got to actually do that and stop taking their opinions just because they show certain consistencies. They haven't done no complete comprehensive breakdown of all these Niger Congo and Nilo-Saharan and Khoisan languages. Because I completely disagree if somebody say that they're not related to Egyptian. Because again, I got historical evidence that the so-called Egyptians, ancient Kemet, whatever you want to call it, was an amalgamation of different African tribes that we call different tribes today. So I'm with you on that linguistic thing. But back to you, brother Gideon. Hey man, don't do that, because Tazariak can't answer my question on that. He would have had to be quiet, sir. You feel me? Because Tahaka and they own text went up there and fought the Assyrians for the Israelites. Now, them same people in Kush claim to be going to restore Mayat in Egypt, and they left. Gideon, they didn't just go there to be fighting the Egyptians for nothing. And sometimes they were cool with the Egyptians at different time periods. Like in America, you had the Civil War. Now they all combine as one. So we can't just conflate one of the, if not the oldest civilization proven on record, to try to conflate that and say these people are different. That's a European concept, bro. They may have different ideologies. They were different nations at different times. But in the beginning, in the genesis of these civilizations, Dr. Ben, Theophil Obenga, Sheikh on the Joke, these guys are correct. I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, no.
To correct you, my brother Harwin, that no, Sekou wasn't wrong, and that wasn't crazy, because there is no such thing as African science, and there is no such thing as European science. There is no such thing as black science. There is no such thing as Chinese science. If it's African science, then that means it'll be strictly for African people. If you go and Google the word African science, they will give you the same definition if you Google European science. You'll find that means it's not strictly for Africans. It's for everybody, brother. So there's no such thing as African science. Okay, you can respond, Harwin.
Okay, that is a fallacy. I understand it, what you're saying, what you're attempting to say, and what he's saying. But what I'm saying is we shouldn't do that. Here's why. Have you ever heard of the Schrodinger equation, sir?
No.
The Schrodinger equation is named after Erwin Schrödinger because he came up with an equation to help them break down quantum mechanics. So now 1,000 years from now, when we study quantum mechanics, we're going to think our ancestors had nothing to do with that. We're going to think that automatically. You ever heard of the Pythagorean theorem, Sa?
I heard of it.
All right. Pythagoras is a Greco-Roman guy, and they give him credit for that. Yet we have the evidence that we were using the Pythagoras, so-called Pythagoras triples in Kemet. So they not only were they using religion against us, they were using science against us. They were coming into Africa, taking our sciences, and they still doing it today and using it, and they're not giving credit to where they found it, but they'll put their name on it and then teach our kids to say Pythagorean theorem, Schrödinger equation, Heidelberg uncertainty principle, etc., etc. I can keep going on and on and on. They named these discoveries in science after themselves. So yeah, I agree.
What is African science?
Science, listen, it's science that Africans discovered. And when Occidental, if you read Eversaid's Orientalism, they changed the old model.
What is the science
hold on, I got you. Hold on, sir. Say that again.
What is the science that Africans discovered?
Well, we see in Miro they was doing trigonometry, so that's one. But I can go all down the list. I'm just trying to make a point. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
They give credit.
This is what I'll say, kind of just a.
Hey, come on, Gideon. Come on, Gideon.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I know it's your show, bro, but this is important to me.
Hold on, Gideon.
No, man, the person on the show don't get a strike, huh?
Yeah, you do.
Strike one.
Yo,
all right, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right, so again, this is important to me. This mean a lot to me, and it should means a lot to everybody on this panel and everybody watching. Yeah, we know science has a definition. It's like saying omniscience. All science just means knowledge. But when they teach our kids in these schools, and we send them to our day schools, and they teaching us in Florida right now that we were taught valuable skills in slavery, as if to try to make something positive out of slavery. And I'm trying to figure out what effing skill did they teach us. We were already smelting iron in Central and West Africa when they were still in the Stone Age. We had writing systems in Africa. They try to say we don't got no writing systems. sa.neter. We must call it African science, or they will not give us credit for discovering it. If it was all kumbaya moments and we was all here being honest in the world and we are the world BS ideology that don't exist, I would hear you. But since we don't live in that, they not only do they use the Bible, y'all get on the Bible, but y'all got to get on the sciences too, Sha. The scientists was telling us we were nothing. We didn't create nothing. We had no mathematics. The oldest forms of mathematics is discovered in Africa. The oldest forms of mathematics. They ain't talking Kemet. I'm talking the Lemimba bone in South Africa, the Ishango bone in Central Africa. These are mathematics we discovered, but our kids know nothing about it. But when they go to school,
right here.
When they go to school, they learn Pythagorean theorem, and then you learn about Pythagoras. When they go to school, they learn, even physicists to this day, physicists give all the credit, 100% credit, 100% to physicists that the idea of the atomic theory comes from some Greek during 400 BC, and that is cap. That's all cap. So Sekou is wrong, because his point that he's attacking it from is some utopia that we do not live in. If these people were being honest, if these people were being truthful, if these people were being cool with us and they wasn't using these sciences against us, if their science was in the third leading cause of death in America, because I heard you get on herbalists, you got the right to feel that way because what happened with you with Dr. Sabi, but the third leading cause of death in America is medicine and medical malpractices. So we can say that same thing about them. There is a such thing as that because they created that, just like they created that paradigm with the religion. They use religion to go against us, and they use science. So Inky had a good point. He's right and exact on that. We got to stop this. We are the world. Yeah, you might not be able to Google it, but if you Google what's the oldest writing system, I guarantee you it's gonna say Sumer, and that's cat. So Google ain't right about everything. I've gotten to arguments with Google AI, and I'm like, what you mean? So what's Tomb UJ of King Scorpion that was found? That's in pre-dynastic Egypt. That's show us one. I ain't talking about the Kish tablet that's proto writing, because we can go to proto writing in Africa. Show us one Sumerian actual true writing that predates Tomb UJ, and I'll shut up. But when you go to Google and say, what's the oldest language? I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, unless you argue with it, it's going to say Sumer. And Sumer is not in Africa according to them. So we got to stop that. Say, cool, that's wrong. Aside, that's wrong. And I hope I've corrected that now.
Okay, brother. All right, I got you.
Hey, sorry, I
And
want to
clip
draft
this up.
this
And
down.
anybody want to clip it up? I'm sorry, but anybody want to clip it up? We can bet whatever. We can do whatever.
All right,
You got guys like.
I think
One more thing.
would it be a valid, good debate with you would be this brother right here. And we're going to see what he got to say about that.
I like that brother. I like that brother.
Yeah.
So not when I was speaking in terms, like when you mentioned Theophilo Banga and Sheikh Tejo, they use comparative linguistic methods. They showed the phonetic structure. They showed the verb conjugation structure. They showed that the words directly correlate from meaning from the conjugation. So what you're saying is correct. What I'm saying in his presentation is he did not use any comparative linguistic methodology. Now, in regards to what Sekou is saying, excuse me, I got fufu and Agusi all over me right now. But
it's all good.
What Sekou is saying in regards to science is correct. The science is objective, but what he also says is they apply it in a different manner, to which you are correct. Now, I don't agree with what Uncle and be doing with all that we are the world stuff and everybody's the same. That's incorrect. But in regards to the science, the methodology, any cogent science is objective. If it's subjective, then it's pseudoscience, like the taxonomy, Blumenbach and all them were doing. That's pseudoscience. But the way that Europeans apply science is the same way that they apply religion, is the same way that they apply governmental structures, the same way they apply economic structures, is to conquer. So you are correct. I mean, anybody that would disagree with that is just living under a rock. I mean, that's not debatable historically or contemporarily. So I agree with the essence of what you're saying, but that's not the essence of what Sekou is saying wasn't. It wasn't that they're applying it differently. It's saying that the cogent science is objective, which it is. That's all I got to say.
Can I respond, sir?
Hey, hold up for a minute, man. Hey, listen, man, y'all doing great, man. And we want, bring some more younger brothers like y'all up here, man, because this is what we want to hear. Guys like us, we getting outdated, man. It's refreshing seeing you, King J, this brother right here, Harwin, and sa.neter University, man. Introducing the new young scholars coming up, man. Because a lot of the words y'all saying, for people y'all age, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear y'all speaking like this, man. Examining the information and treating each other with respect, even though you may disagree. So, man, I'm excited, man, to see these young brothers up here, and I hope y'all is too, because there's gonna be more of that to come. There's gonna be more of that to come to the platform, man. The young scholars. You hear me? Go ahead.
Can I reply to the brother real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. I think Sar stepped away, so yeah, I'll hold it down until you get back.
All right. Brother Ngolo, I hear you, and that may not be the spirit in what Sekou is doing, but listen, you can have good intentions and be dead wrong. We are at war. We are behind enemy lines. We need to stop appealing to them. They are not, like you said, Anka get up here and act like these Europeans are everything and we don't got nothing. We can't, everybody on this panel and everyone in the chat, there's black people, Nubian people, African people, whatever you want to call yourself, you got the capacity to be a genius. Do not let nobody come up here and tell you you can't understand these Europeans' perspective on science. I agree with you, Ngolo, what you're saying, but a lot of physics is very subjective. You know why? Because they start off with a postulate. A postulate is nothing more than a fancy word to say I'm assuming something.
Yep.
You feel me? So yeah, right there, that's subjectivity. So right there, that is European science because it came from a European and his assumption. And even if it's a postulate that they got from us, the Greeks had no problem with admitting that they learned from the Egyptians. So since these Occidental Western civilization got us here, got us teaching us that we learning something new, that we learning some skills that we didn't know already. And you got people like Unc and Garfield to come on here, completely don't know the subject matter. They're appeal to consensus. They'll bring Europeans on here and try to argue that the word Kemet don't mean black or black people, when neither one of them actually study the language themselves and go on Smash Rockwell's show, who clearly studies the language, and argue with him and bring a European on the show to actually agree with him is crazy. So these same people have flunkies and people that trust them and believe them is wild hunters. A lot of these people you think is pro-African, they really anti-African. They really are. They believe we were separated by some mythological barrier. That's the Sahara Desert. Yet they believe in the out of Africa theory. So we was good enough to leave out of Africa and survive for 350,000 years. But we weren't good enough 5,000 years ago to travel to Kemet. What that sound like Tarzan know how to talk to the animals that he just got there, but the Africans don't. That's crazy. If you want to come on here, you can get cooked. Real talk.
Hold up, young lion. Hey, I want to. Hey, so you draft 3 young debaters, and I draft 3, and we let these guys get it in, man. Hey, I'm loving it. All you old guys, put your hand down. Let the young guys get. Come on, man. What is y'all doing? Let Angola get back in. Just for then we'll ask questions if that's all right.
Oh no, I don't.
Hold up.
I don't have anything. I don't disagree with nothing he was saying. I agree with it 100%. It's well documented how they weaponize science. These corporations, they fund the research and they produce conflicting reports, and then that makes it to where both opposing views to whichever agenda it fits for the corporation can be executed. So yeah, they come on here and act like science is some objective field in academia. It's not. It's never been, and it's not going to be when Europeans are ahead of it. So that's 100% factual. You can't. Anybody that disagrees with that, you can't disagree with that. It's historical fact and it's contemporary fact. There's
so
instance after instance.
Let's stop this. Let's stop this craziness. There is an African science.
I'm not gonna say it's an African science though.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Can I talk, man?
Let's agree to
and I'm
disagree.
gonna go.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Starman stepped out, so I'm Elder Suntan was next, and then
No, I'm.
Yeah, I was next, Apostle.
Okay, so all right. Go ahead, Elder Suntan.
I just want mine real quick anyway. I appreciate Harwin and Angola because they following up on what I was saying, and what I'm saying is that Tree and Unc and them, I didn't even mention no name, but they would come and beef up these Europeans and want to argue the fact like. Well, I had to mention Sheikh Andy Diop. I had to mention Theophilus. I had to mention all these people because guess what? We don't nobody in the conscious community mention them when they get scientific. Do you hear Uncle them mention them? No. And they want to completely rule Sheikh out when he was one of the smartest black cats that I knew, that I didn't read about and study. And Dr. John Henry Clark, he wasn't a scientist. He was just a philosopher. His philosophy pointed at the engagement of black success and black intelligence, which we take for granted, and we call it Europe. We call it Eurocentric. Those guys, I'm Afrocentric, right? Because I'm sticking to where I came from, right? At the same time, the science that Sekou was speaking that there is no science is proto-science, because like Harwin said and like Angola said back, well, I say Harwin said it back in the time of proto-science, that's when all of these Kemet ideas was coming up. They call that proto-science, which was black science, because you got people who don't want to put a color on it, but I would say people look like us, was doing this sort of science back in proto-science. So what I would leave at, because these guys younger than me, but they well more studied to the subject matter, and I appreciate it because look at here, y'all. I'm still a sponge. I'm learning every day, but I appreciate Harwin because he's going hard and he's calling out the people that I want, that I didn't call Unc out. I asked Unc, what gives you the authority to call somebody pseudo, right? Yeah. And then he want to put up, what's his name? The
Charles Darwin.
Yeah, he want to put this guy up because evolution. Damn Charles Darwin. I bet you any money, y'all, and I'm just shooting in the dark and I'm going to drop the mic. Some black guy in Charles Darwin, and I'm shooting in the dark, took that from some black guy because they've been stealing our stuff, and the greatest thing that the European has invented is the motherfucking, what you call it? What you call it, a patent shop. That's the greatest thing they invented because they plagiarized everything else. Peace.
All right, Elder Suntan. Yeah. Great. Go ahead, Apostle.
Yeah, I just want to say this and I'm going to leave.
All right, go ahead.
For 400 years, we as so-called African Americans has been going by names that we didn't give ourselves. Names that were put on us. And we accepted those names, whether they be Negro, colored, or what have you. Nigga, we accepted those names for years, over 400 years. King J, just like my mother's father's side of the family came across on a slave ship named the Charlotte Cape, my father's side of the family came to America on a slave ship the same way. All right? Why you got this fixation with me, I don't know. But you can get it. All you got to do is ask for it. Okay? You can get it. All you got to do is ask for it. But I'll be damned. Today, rather I felt that I am a bloodline Israelite, or whether I was a convert.
No, when he's saying converso, he's saying you a Jew.
No, hold on, Gideon. That's not what he's saying.
Bro. We're not doing that no more.
Were the slave owner. They were the slave traders. That's what he said. That's what I heard.
Oh, man.
I heard that. And for a guy that don't know nothing, that's barely 35 years old.
Strike 2.
Sit there and tell me who I am. Nigga, you got some nerves. I am who the hell I choose to be. Right? You can shake your head all you want. Ain't nobody got the power to change that. Not even you. I got a son 25 for you, who's a Hebrew Israelite.
Apostle, don't be the first one to get kicked out, because people banking on that. People is betting on the side that Apostle will be the first one to get kicked out. So you know they doing them pro bets. What's them bets, brother? Man,
the sports betting. The sports betting. Hold on, Apostle, you good? Because Gideon and Angola got 2 strikes. I got 1 strike.
Yeah, they doing them side bets, man.
The strike asking a question. I don't know how that could be.
Because you shouldn't have opened your mouth and asked the question. It's not your time.
Oh, come
No,
on.
I'm saying it's not his time.
You interrupted me, man.
This is not his time to speak. But anyway, everybody, hold on. Gideon, let me go back to the source, man. Gideon, hey, Elder Suntan ain't speak for a minute. Suntan, you got the floor.
You've been gone, sir.
I still want to say this real quick.
But I want to finish.
Yes, real quick.
Get kicked out, Apostle, please.
I'll tell you what, you keep it
real quick. Come on.
No, Suntan, you win. Come on, son. You left.
I just want to say this, man. Because I forgot to say, and I was just thinking about it. I would give Gideon this right here, man. He will concede if he's wrong. He's not in a box. He in his own person. He's a Hebrew for sure. But he's open to take some more.
No, he's an African American for sure.
What I'm saying, you know what I'm saying.
In his mind, he's a Hebrew.
Look, I ain't gonna
you can be whatever you want to be in your mind.
Right. That's right. All I'm saying is Gideon is open.
I challenge Gideon to get a DNA test. Let's see if he do it. And we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it, Suntan. Let's see. Gideon, will you take it if we pay for it? And we can reveal it right here on sa.neter Studios, sa.neter TV. If we get you a DNA test, Gideon, would you reveal it, open it up, and show it right here?
If I get one, it ain't I've been thinking about it, but if I get one, I'll let you know.
No, I'm saying we will pay for it. Will you reveal it right here, brother? Ain't nothing to hide.
That ain't the issue. Paying for it. I'm just not. I don't really deal with all that, man.
Of course you don't, brother.
I'm just waiting to respond because I got my first strike responding when I'm.
All right, brother. All right, let Suntan finish. JJ is still going on.
Strike 2.
All right.
Leave it alone. All I gotta say again is I appreciate Ngolo and my other guy, man, the new guy. But Brother Gideon is about one of the sort of honestest Hebrew that I know. He will concede. He still stick to his gun, but he will he's willing to hear something else out before he get dogmatic. So
I agree with that. I agree with you on that.
So I'm gonna leave it there because it's been a great show and all the critiques is well documented by me. I need it because I'm a sponge and I'm learning every day. So thanks a lot, fellas. Let's keep it going.
All right, brother Gideon, you got the floor. Gideon.
Yeah, man. It's been like 3-4 people I wanted to respond to, so
Take your time. Go ahead and respond to him.
Yeah.
Brother.
To the brother Winward, that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
R1.
R1.
R1. I definitely agree with what you were saying. I'm of the understanding that there's meta tribes that were in Africa, and over time, this is where we get all these different tribes that we see today from, like the Akan Fulani, the Fulada people, the Wuba people. All these people come from a greater people in older times. So I definitely do agree with you on that. You know what I'm saying? Now again, as far as for the brother Angola, either he didn't watch my debate. That's what I'm saying. Like, you just anxious, and I'm gonna shoot. Like, so when I asked you about, because the only part of my presentation that you would see, like any linguistic challenge, you didn't even mention. So I'm a credit that you didn't see that part. Now, as far as for the slave ship voyages, you can refer to not only the database, but you can refer to the video that I played right before that, displaying all of the Israelite names that we see in Africa, like Anan and Afi, and several others that I showed in the video. But when you went from being a geneticist to a linguist, I asked you about the word Ghana, and regardless if you seen that part in my video or not, you would have known what you was talking about if you would have put on your linguist cap after you took off your genetic coat. So when I asked you what was the word Ghana, you said some Arab word. So let me explain to you real fast, because this is the only part of my presentation that had any type of linguistic, claim to it. The word. So when we look at sa.neter language, the kingdom of Ghana was founded by a person named Dinga Sisi. And this person, Dinga Sisi, like you said, it's an Arab word. No, it's not an Arab word. That's what you would think if you were taught with the Eurocentric lens, because he was from the East, but he wasn't an Arab. Because when we look at Dinga Sisi, not only does he have a son with him that comes with him, but as far as the word Ghana is attached to the title of the kings of Ouagadougou, and that they will be called Ghana, and it's actually Gada that they were called. And when you look at Dinga Sisi, like, you had no idea. That's why I say you don't really know the linguistic. You couldn't even much walk that down linguistically when I asked you. So when I asked you the word Ghana, we know that it's from the sa.neter language, but again, it's a title that means warrior king. So when you're saying it's some type of Arab word, you're wrong there. Dinga Sisi claims to come from the East, but he claims not to be a Muslim. He's not a Muslim. And when we look at his son name is Dayamin El Yaman. So that says that he's comes from the area of Yemen. Now, when we look at the word Ghana, which is warrior king, that wasn't the name of the empire. The empire was Ouagadougou, and they were Kayamana Ghana. And when we look at the Hebrew word for Gada, we see that it's rooted in Gideon. And when we look at the Gideon dynasty that we see that was fighting
not the Gideon
in Ethiopia, we see that linguistic connection to it. It's no other, that's the earliest and the strongest linguistic tie that you can put to Ghana. We see that Ghana, according to the Hebrew language, is connected to Ouagadougou. Ouagadougou means slain. Gada means warrior. So that's what I was saying. So when you take off your genetic coat and want to be a linguistic, at least be able to walk a little bit. That's all I want to say.
Man, Hey, man, listen, this is good, man. I get in,
All
man.
right, all right.
Bringing it out.
Let me get Ngolo. Ngolo. Go ahead, brother.
Bro, you do not listen. I literally said everything that you just said in regards to what it actually meant. Ghana is an Arabic word. It's a corruption of the king term. Yes. Nothing. But again, you just display like this is why debating people like y'all, bro, is really pointless and exercise of futility. What you just said is a comparative linguistic method. You have to systematically, word by word, look at the conjugation and meaning in both languages, diametrically oppose them, and then you can say that the languages are related. You can't do what you just did. That's what I be talking about. This is YouTube scholarship. That's why it'd be a waste of my time, bro. You got it though, bro. Like,
no, you got it, and I'm gonna land with this.
You're supposed to give him some more.
When I asked you what the word Ghana was, you said it was Arab. Nothing Saniki came out your mouth, but you want to say you said what I said. But go ahead, but keep doing what you do.
I said it's an
I
Arabic
respect
corruption
your
of the
skill,
king term.
but you gotta watch it. You can't run up that hill, dog.
Hey, Ghana Step, it was his turn, though. I think you did relinquish the mic. So don't cut your time short and go. You got to take advantage of the microphone. I see you, but you going against a veteran right here. He ain't no easy win, but I see you. So go ahead and put out some more information, a little bit. And let's see what you got. Go ahead.
No, he doesn't listen. I literally said that it is a corruption. Ghana is an Arabic word because it is a corruption of the term, that the original term that they use. It's not Kaya Magan. It's not. It doesn't mean anything towards it being not a non-Arabic word. That's what you don't listen. But you like I clearly stated, bro. You can't use the methods that you're using to create a connection linguistically. If you go into any reputable methodological system, that nobody is going to accept that, brother. That's all I'm saying. If you can literally use the method you use in literally any language, and you will find similarities in any language. There would be able to come to no consensus in any form of academia. I'm not saying mainstream. Any form of academia would not be able to come to any consensus if they use the methodology that you're using, because it's too general. It's too broad. You're not going to find real connections using that broad-based method, brother. That's all I got to say.
Let me say so. Let me ask you this real quick. So, what is y'all main disagreement? So we so the new people coming into the audience to kind of be on the same page. What is you and Elder Gideon's? Because he's like an elder. He up in age like the rest of us. He just ain't had too many debates. Running up on him, man. You got to be kind of ready with this conversation. So what do you agree? No, man, trust me, bro. You gonna be there. You gonna be the next 5-10 years, bro. That's what we looking for, man. So I'm not trying to insult anything. I'm trying to elevate you and as far as bring next time bring your sources with you. You know what I'm saying? Have it wrote down. I used to write it down before I come on and speak. I'm like, okay, I know what they're talking about. I'll go look it up. Have me 3 good talking points with the sources. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of summary with it. Then that's can set up the debate. So I'm asking you, what do you and Gideon? Well, what would you like to? Don't you got a debate set up? I'm who just set the debate up with Apostle? Was it you? Or was it?
No, that wasn't me.
I got the debate with Apostle, but
Okay. So y'all two on chill. Y'all on ice over there. Now this would be another debate. Can I say one thing after you get done? King J, you got your debate set up, brother. Let's get 2, and then everybody can let's at least get 2 debates on this whole show.
No problem,
right.
For sure.
So you and Gideon, what is your disagreement with him? As far as you're saying that there is no Israelites in West Africa, because that was his presentation.
There is no indigenous Israelites, Hebrew, any Levantine culture is not indigenous. They have no prior to I don't even want to. I say prior to the 10th century, you're not gonna find any in West Africa at all. And my postulation is they're all foreign migrants. Like it's not, and they were very small in number. The people that came, and they didn't massively convert anybody, and the culture is not similar to in as a whole, the culture is not similar to anything in the Levant.
That's not a really strong argument to come against a veteran like that. Maybe we could restructure that, because I don't want you to get in, put yourself in the hole like that, man.
No, it's not a hole.
You saying you can prove? Hold on, just because you want to do this in a debate, you can prove that there was nobody saying there was some kind of connection to Moses and all that. You know, Abraham in Africa until what century?
The 10th. I said West Africa prior to.
See, that's what you've been. See, that's a Chris Harris argument. Now he trying to. Well, what about without this West? No, we talk. So you saying there's no people that are migrated to West Africa like 70 AD?
Nah, hell no.
You said so. So that'll be a topic that. Gideon, he's saying that there's no Israelites that came into Africa in 70 AD.
West Africa.
Well, I don't know how long it took them to get to the West, because after a while, you gotta get the
culture. The reason.
Have you heard of the Abaya of Uganda? I want you to look that up. I mean,
I've heard of them.
Well, who converted them then? So that would make
but brother, East Africa is a totally different animal, because when you talk, what he said, the fact he brought up with the Himyarites is correct. The people of the Horn have been traveling back and forth from Yemen from time immemorial. That's basically, they have the similar culture. That's like the Horn is a completely different animal in regards to Africa is concerned. They have quote unquote large similarities with Levantine culture. As far as we are concerned, we don't. So in East Africa, I would say that Levantine culture is, you can find their presence earlier, but we don't come from those people. So anybody trying to tie to those people, you would have to prove that you have a direct lineage from them. But
okay, let's get Gideon back in here and see what kind of debate structure. I mean, just listening from your talking points. Gideon, come on up here, man, and what do you think that you and him can set this debate up on his talking points, based off his talking points? Or did Gideon run out the building?
Nah, I'm right here, man.
There you go. The guy was getting right here.
Yeah, but I mean,
the Juvie swag. Go ahead, man.
I mean, but it's obvious, bro. And like I said, bro, you know, I see why, you know, the content community, they need youngsters, because you can't get an old dog. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, meaning that an old Kemetic person wouldn't have said what you said, because what they used to say wasn't no Israelites in Africa, period. So, you know, now it's you saying 1000 AD.
No, I'm saying in West Africa, you're not gonna find any. No, not 1000 AD. The 10th century.
Yeah, my bad. The 10th century. My bad. I'm tripping. So now y'all brought it back to the 10th century. Now we got to show Israelite presence in the 10th century. What I can show is the earliest records that we find on people in West Africa. Those are the sources that I'm speaking of, because you're not going to find no continuous history. You're going to find things like the Tariq el-Fatas or the Tariq el-Sudan, and even those have Israelites being in the area. So, I mean, when I showed the presentation, out of all the things, like that was the thing that you like. So, yeah, but yeah, we could debate whatever, man. I mean, right now, I got to.
No, we can't just do that. Get in now. It ain't no just debate, whatever. We got one debate, and I'm not being rude, man, but.
I got you.
Clear cut. This is the toughest environment. We got the debate coliseum. You know, I mean, we want debates, and then we work our way up to the paid. You know, everybody like, you know, we want the young energy, and get in. You bring in young energy because you really had too many debates, but you're gonna be the one that's schooling these younger ones until they catch up to you. That's how I see it right now. You know, Gideon, you deserve a spot to shine. And if anybody else wants to smoke with Gideon on this topic right here, hey, come over here. Come over to the Coliseum.
Hey, JJ, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Nagola, you was right. I just looked it up. The Kingdom of Ghana, also known as Wadu in the Wadadu was the earliest known empire of West Sudan and was founded by the king of sa.neter people. Europeans and Arabs mistakenly named it Ghana.
Okay, now
he's not right. Let me just
hold
say
up.
something real
He
quick.
is right. He just said they mistakenly
let me
named it
Before y'all
Ghana.
start going and arguing about that, can I at least set the debate up? Can we get can we at least get these two set up? So
Yes, but JJ, now you give me 30
one more
seconds,
minute apiece.
please.
If we can't get it in 1 minute apiece, that means they really don't want to debate. All right, and then y'all can go talk. You and Suntan can go in on that.
Yeah,
No,
unless he want to debate, man. I don't really want to debate.
No, I don't have a continuous.
Okay, you don't want to debate.
No,
Okay,
JJ.
we'll look for some other people. It's okay.
No, JJ, real
Nah,
quick.
if he want to debate, if he running saying something, we can debate.
No, I'm not trying to debate. No,
King
JJ,
J might
listen.
want to debate Gideon. Go ahead, King J.
No, listen. Gideon, you are correct, right? So in regards to what you and Ngoli's point, right? In regards to the origin of the word Ghana, Ghana is a sa.neter word, right? It's the word that is used for the title. What does it mean? Warrior chief, right?
Warrior chief.
So I'll read it, right? While the word appears in historical Arabic texts, its root and original meaning comes from the sa.neter language of the West African people who ruled the ancient empire. It says origin, sa.neter origin. The word Ghana, sometimes referred to as Ghana, originates from the sa.neter language, which is part of the Mende language. Family was spoken by the people who founded the ancient Ghana Empire, also known as Wagadu. The word Ghana is fundamentally a sa.neter word. So at this point, I really would like Ngoli to just humbly say, I was incorrect, Ngozi. I mean, not Ngozi, Gideon. Ghana is a sa.neter word. Although it does appear corrupted in Arabic text later, the root word and meaning is sa.neter.
Hey, King J, you know the best thing you said of what you said, bro? You said, you know what? I looked it up. I wasn't right. And once we start all doing that together, man, that's how we're gonna build.
That's it. That's all I wanted to do.
So let me let brother Herwin back in because he been sitting out, for a minute, and then go. Go ahead, brother.
To bridge the gap with the brother Ngolo and Gideon, respectfully, Ngolo did originally say it's an Arabic word, but then he cleaned it up and said it's a corrupted word though. So it's not really Arabic, but the way it's being pronounced is Arabic. So Gideon was right, but the brother Ngolo did break down how it come from the name of the kings when he initially talked about it. So they both right and they both wrong. It's just a little misunderstanding.
Nah,
But
because even in the sa.neter,
hold
it
on,
means
bro.
warrior. It means warrior king in the sa.neter.
King J, come on,
but
bro.
go ahead. My bad.
Okay, let me tell you the plans for all of us.
King J,
we want sponsors, right? We want people to look at this platform and take us serious. So if we keep interrupting each other, how somebody gonna want us to represent their product when we up in here acting like we can't even respect each other? That's all I'm saying. This is the direction we going, man. We've been doing this too long. Now for somebody to be, hey, sponsor, we get team debates or basketball games.
Strike two.
Yeah, that's King J's second strike. So what I'm saying, I know we used to doing it like on an open panel, but we just trying to move in a better direction, family. I got 2 strikes too. So so you see what I'm saying? So who was talking before that happened? I think it was.
I was.
All right, go ahead.
I was talking.
Yep, go ahead, brother.
Brother King J, bro, it ain't really nothing to harp on. It's like the word Egypt. You know what I'm saying? It's anachronistic. But the word Egypt has its origins in the ancient Egyptian language, but it's a mispronunciation or something, and it's used in a way. So I don't think we should be debating that back and forth. Like that's a little trivial, bro. Like for real. But to the brother Elder Suntan, when you said they call it proto science, they like to always call our information proto. That's the subtle imperialistic racist commentary you get from these European scholars. And I'm gonna put an emphasis on European, it's an emphasis on it. So we definitely need to name our stuff because they'll take it. And then they'll say, oh, well, that's just proto writing, Elder Suntan. But they use the Kish tablet to justify Sumerian writing, Elder Suntan. But Elder Suntan, the Kish tablet is proto writing. You see what I'm saying? It's proto. It's not. So we're not gonna call our information proto writing or proto science. Like, what does that mean? Proto science, proto knowledge. Like, knowledge is knowledge. If we discovered it first, quote us, give us credit. If you listen, I went to Columbia College, Chicago. If you get caught taking a quote from somebody and not giving them their credit, it's plagiarism. You get kicked out of school. So say cool. Yes, there is African science knowledge. Until they acknowledge it as such, that's what we gonna call it. Period.
Hey, but let me say something about proto.
Hold on.
That's the beginning. Proto is the beginning, so we can't just say. I know they try to say
No,
like
but
it's less advanced. It's just like
that's not how they using it though. They using it like primitive. They're using it as primitive. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're not even trying. They're outwardly doing that. If you go to the southern Africa and see those ruins, they'll be like, there's no way those click speakers could have built that. Those are just hunter gatherers. What you mean? As if hunter gatherers don't have astronomy? What you saying? So we looking at history from their point of view. They're trying to make it seem like history went from here as humans, and then we went up on this perfect line as in advancing, and that's not true. History went more like this. It was peaks and valleys and flows. You even see that in Europe itself. So we are the originators of it, and until they acknowledge it as such, so they acknowledge they come from us. You got the Chinese, they was trying to prove that they evolved from the Homo erectus separately until they did the genetics and found out, nah, we just mutated Africans. Okay, then. So just keep it a buck. We not finna half step. This ain't Big Daddy Kane said, we not playing. We not doing that. I love y'all and all the people in the chat watching. Y'all, we are people, we won, and we are beautiful, intelligent people and have always been that. We're the originators of this. So we got to stop playing that proto writing, proto science. It's science. They don't quote Kemet when they scientific books. They play games. They didn't teach us that in school. They didn't. And to the brother Ngolo point, Ngolo, you know what I'm saying? You right when you talk about the horn. But that's still to the brother Gideon point with the Sabians. You know what I mean? That was in Africa. That was in Africa first. That was, but brother Gideon, you got to prove that those people, just because they were moving back and forth from so-called Asia to so-called Africa, you got to prove that they were actually Israelites. Even though you can go to the Fulani and show that they travel from the east to the west. They're going to try right there for you. I don't think you even mentioned. That's to your point. You can have that, but you can show that, but you got to show in their oral traditions, in their language, in their text. So this goes to the brother, the elder, that be arguing back and forth with Side Apostle. Y'all gotta have an original text to substantiate these claims. If you're going to use text, cool, but the Bible you're using is based on the Masoretic text. So where's the original one? Where's the one that has the Paleo script? JJ, you remember when I was in the Coliseum back this weekend, we was talking, and I told the Hebrew brother, listen, if y'all gonna use, because I just heard Apostle say he bought the Qumran text, the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's cool, and I'm with you. But if you're gonna use that text, fine. You got to admit that narrative is wrong in the Bible that you have then. Because again, like I said on the weekend, Gilgamesh is mentioned in the Qumran text and he is in the Sumerian text. So you can't have it both ways.
All right.
Hey, so now we got some good
I'm not gonna believe none of y'all. If we are talking me y'all from until you can show your DNA. Right here, you see my name. Sub-Saharan African, 74.2%. West African, 53.6%. Okay? Now, I got a little Portuguese up in there. I got a little indigenous American up in there. See, that's why I don't believe the Indians until they can show they join. I think I only got 5 or 3% Portuguese, but Apostle, I think Apostle got like 76 or something like that. 76 Portuguese? Damn. Come on, man.
Black Portuguese, sa.neter.
Man, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. But it don't say black on his DNA. It just says 73% Portuguese. At least mine say Afro. It say Afro Puerto Rican all my shit. See, his don't say no black Portuguese. Oh! I got Spanish and
How much
Portuguese.
European you got it?
I got Spanish and Portuguese, 12.8%.
That's a lot, man. You know.
Yeah, but it's Spanish. It's Spanish and Portuguese.
Is it the black Spaniards or is it the black Spaniards? I'm just saying,
To
man.
be honest, Mendika,
Be honest, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. But I know my father Puerto Rican, so that part come from there.
Yeah.
You know? But hey, I gotta keep it a buck.
Puerto Rican is Puerto Rican.
So you
is,
got 42% Ghanaian and Liberian, like
74% sub-Saharan African, West African, 53%.
Wow.
You know?
So let me ask you something.
How much did that cost, sir?
I forgot. So Portuguese, I got 4.6%. I don't know what this is. Can anybody help me out with this?
Let me see what it says. Blow it up. You get, hold on.
Well,
I'll look
it up. Please.
Yeah, but what is that? What is that?
That's in the British Isles. That's in the British Isles.
Another one right here in 2025.
I just want to say, man, Santana OG, he the only one that said something. All us, we ain't say nothing. We got these strikes over here. What's up?
All right. As you can see in the pink, Indigenous American, 5.1%. But before I looked at it, it was 3 point. But as they keep doing the science, like you said, King J and Golo, the science corrects itself. And so who's to say by next year it won't be like 10%, 10.4? Because it keeps changing.
How you they change it from next year to the 1 year?
Because it's not all the way facts. They continue to do the science on the DNA.
Right.
That's why, Mandinka.
Right.
So right now, I had this right here for like 3 years, and it changes on going up because they continue to find more research. That's how. And if you see my family, hold on. If you see my family now, what King J was saying to Apostle, that's crazy. That's what made me go to it because King J. I do have Rodriguez in my family. I got Rodriguez on my family tree. You know what I'm saying? So King J made me go to it and look at this shit. I'm like, oh shit. King J said we own slaves and shit.
Yeah, a lot of our ancestors look like us own slaves.
Yeah.
Our family owned slaves. Hayes Plantation.
Yeah, let me view my family tree. All right, there I go right there in the middle. But that's not what I want. I want to get where I could show you my family. And they got the pictures up too. Where do I go, man? Where do I go?
All of that come with that one package, sir?
Here you go. Yeah. Yep.
That's interesting.
You can Google it and see how much it costs. It was cheaper when I did it. So here we go right here. When you look at it, this is all from my father's side. You see the Puerto Ricans right here? And I was strolling down and I seen Rodriguez. I was like, oh, shit. There go Rodriguez ass. Now I was looking this up. Christina. Now, like JJ said, is it the white Puerto Ricans or is it the black? She looks a little European.
Leadership though, she because a lot of what I mean. Her daddy might be black.
As I was looking at this, I went all the way. Hold on, Mandinka, this is my second cousin. I went all the way to my fifth cousin, and as I'm looking at this, I'm gonna say to y'all brothers right now that we are having sex with our relatives, and y'all don't even know that. We are all connected. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Then you're a Hebrew Israelite.
As long as it's not your first and second cousin generation. But when it gets to like the fourth and fifth and sixth, that's it. You don't know. You would never know. I could stroll all the way down and go to my fifth generation, and you don't even know. We having sex with our families.
Okay, so is this confusing this, sa.neter? Can we take this? Is this like empirical evidence? This science right here, 23andMe. Now that's a good topic that we need to start investigating. Are they just making us pay for this? The people that took us to other lands and stole us.
Right, I'm gonna go to my.
I'm gonna
go to
page. Argument out there for the people against this type of stuff. You hear me? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm just playing the advocate.
I'm gonna go to page 60. Now, this is my 5th generation, according to the DNA. This is my 5th generation. Victor. See, this is all from my father's side. That's why you see the Spanish, the Puerto Ricans. On this one before, I seen Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez is on 57. Here she go right here. See? They don't look nothing like me, but this is my 5th generation. And this from my father's side. And my father was light-skinned. He was a light-skinned Puerto Rican.
Interesting.
Now look at her, Bernice Rivera. Look at Bernice Rivera. Cruz. See that? This is my 4th generation. No, 5th generation. My 5th cousin. This is my 5th cousin right here. So, hey, I might be a white man. Y'all don't know, man.
I doubt it.
I might be a white man. According to y'all. Shit.
I doubt it.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Hey, Angolo want to holler at you.
Go ahead, Angolo.
Nah, I just wanted to respond to what King J said. So nobody would say that the term Egypt is a Kemetic word. It's a corruption of the word patah. So the term Ghana as currently constructed with the pharyngeal fricative with the Ghana is an Arabic word. The original word, yes, is Ghana without the pharyngeal fricative. I said that. I don't understand. Like, I'm not. I preface the statement. So that's all I got to say.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't have no problem. You did clear it up in that regards. Egypt is an English word. Egyptos is the Greek. That's from the Het Ptah. That's based off of the Temple of Ptah. But go ahead. But with the Ghana part, you're correct. You did clear that up as a corruption.
Right, that's what I saw, King J.
Angolo, I want you to read the comment on the screen because it's pertaining to you.
Well,
read it out loud, brother.
Nah, it says, be careful, Ngolo. You seem to exalt yourself above HOK scholars. Don't underestimate this environment. You might get burned. I respect real scholars. It don't matter if it's HOK or anything. If you doing faulty scholarship, I gotta call it what it is. I mean, I don't put myself above nobody. There's what people would know way more stuff than me. Like that's nothing. I came to these conclusions by watching sa.neter TV. So as a shorty, so it don't.
Yeah.
I don't put myself above nobody.
That's because you listen to some.
Gideon is very knowledgeable. It's just the methodology he used in the presentation is not. It wouldn't be accepted in any rigorous academic institution, whether that be European, African, anything.
Yeah, I was saying he's very knowledgeable. Hey, Size, Jabari and them coming on?
He stepped away.
He stepped away. So watch this. Hold up. So no, what? Let's set something up, bro. All this talking and all that, bro. Gideon is ready.
I mean, I don't mind this question. Like,
what else in the presentation that you seen or anybody seen?
Here we go, man. You see, I'm a different type of debate.
Gideon, I didn't like
all this and what you seen and what can I find. No, set it up for a discussion.
Right, I agree with Mandinka, man. Just set it up.
No, I don't, man. It's just like a scholarly approach. I had a presentation, and King J was about to respond. I had a presentation. What part of the presentation that you didn't agree with, so we can build on that?
I have contention with the part where
King J already have a debate. Gideon, why are you fooling around over there?
That's anybody, you know. Ngolo, he went to but go ahead.
So the contention I have is with you, the 10th century with the Sabians, right? I'm saying those are Sabians, and I'm asking you, are you identifying them as Israelites? And if not, why did you bring it up?
I brought it up because when we look at the historical records that are left behind, the earliest mention we see of the Himmerite kingdom is through the name Himwari or Himria. Go ahead.
How is that relevant to showing Israelite migration from into West Africa?
Okay, so when we look at the Himmerite kingdom, we see Judith. She was a product of that kingdom, which was on the African mainland. And from Judith, we see the Simeon dynasty spring up, which was in the Simeon Mountains, aka the Gideon dynasty. When that dynasty dissolved in the 15th century, we see a westward expansion of the Israelites from the Philashas. Go ahead.
So, are you familiar with the Soler description about 1400 BC, where it identifies the Sashu of Reuben, the Sashu of Seir, the Sashu of Yahweh?
Right.
That's 1400 BC, correct?
Right.
Do you know that those are Transjordan tribes?
Well, I don't see how that would, refer to this conversation, but
because it puts them at a certain geographical location.
Okay, so you're saying the Sashu of Yahweh were where?
In the particularly the Sashu of Seir, Sashu of Yahweh, Sashu of Reuben are in the Transjordan mountain river right there, Transjordan.
Okay.
So that's on the other side of the Dead Sea.
Okay.
So how are you? So I'm just trying to figure out the migration, because you're starting at Damat, the kingdom of Damat. And
not necessarily.
So I'm just trying to say I'm trying to figure out, how did you get there?
Right, because when we look at the records, we see a queen from Precocious that I brought forward. That was I think I would have to look. It's either the 7th century or the 10th century. And he speaks of a queen, and that queen, she is associated with the Damat Empire, and she's also connected with the Himmerite Empire. And we all know the Himmerite Empire is a quote unquote Jewish kingdom, Jewish empire, not an empire, but kingdom. So that's how I connect Damat to Himmerite, and that's how I can, yeah.
But they were worship. What you talking about? What we mentioned, Yahoo? Yeah, that's a Sabian god, though. Like that's a Sabian. These are Sabian temples.
Well, they have a temple of
about
what it is, Yahoo, and it was to a moon god.
Yeah, Almaka or something like that. These are Sabian gods. These are Sabian gods. So that's why I keep mentioning. What are you making in correlation with the Israelites and the Sabians? You brought up the Keeper Nagas, and I know that talks about Solomon and Menelik. That would have to date around 900 BC, because that's the time period of Solomon, if he actually existed. Correct?
Right.
Okay, so your time
I would say about one.
Hey, Gideon, brother Gideon, you must have called King J and said, "Hey, man, make a distraction so I don't have to debate this brother and go." I mean, what is going on, bro? King J, you have a debate, bro. Can we get before we got 10 minutes before it's the 4-hour mark? Can we at least get these two to sign up for something to come in the Coliseum, do some kind of preliminary? What do y'all actually disagree on? I mean, what are we doing?
And go to do what King J just did. Go ahead.
I mean, I've already stated it, what the problems are. I mean, it really didn't. I mean, like when you talking about the sources. No, first of all, I would like you would have to empirically prove that these people that are coming in, because is your postulation that the people that came from Portugal into the Ouagadougou, well, it wasn't Ouagadougou at the time, but the area that the Ouagadougou Empire encompassed, Are you postulating that they were black? The people that came from Portugal that were expelled?
See, like, you know, like,
As
No,
in black by black I mean sub-Saharan
yes.
African.
I'll take that debate, bro. We don't need, bro.
No,
That's
because
light work.
he's saying a lot of things that's no, it don't. That's not logical. The Portuguese had nothing to do with the Ghanaian empires. Those were two different waves of Israelites. You had the Northeast and the Portuguese Jews that came into Africa, and then you had the African Israelites that came from East Africa that went westward. So those Ghanaian empires, those didn't come from, those came from the east.
You talk about Spain and Portugal, the Spanish Inquisition. Did those Israelites get cast up out of Spain and Portugal and sent to West Africa or San Tome because they couldn't pay no tax? And when they didn't pay no tax, they took their kids and sent them to San Tome. What are we doing, man?
He ain't say that.
No, I'm saying, are you saying that those quote unquote the people that practice Judaism, are you saying that they were of sub-Saharan African ancestry?
Of course, yeah, definitely.
I'm saying I would like to have a discussion on empirically proving that. I've never seen anything that says that.
You must have seen 10 minutes of my presentation.
Yeah, I didn't catch the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the original Israelites.
I see most of it though.
I'm saying the original Israelites are what we call sub-Saharan Negroes, and those sub-Saharan Negroes went from Israel into Africa, into West Africa, into the slave trade. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the whole. I don't mind having a discourse.
Thank you to everybody. We over 3 hours, man. Mandinka might be going live later on. Y'all could carry on this discussion over there. The HOK Coliseum. Peace and Black Power, everybody. Brother Gideon, close us out, man. Close us out, Gideon.
Well, want to definitely give all praise to the Most High in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach. Thank you, Sai. He the OG for making it happen. Appreciate everybody coming on. JJ, King J, Apostle, Elder Suntan, Angola. Anybody I forgot, the brother Himner. He definitely came and brought some information. Everybody that came on, anybody I forgot, I apologize. But other than that, God say the African king. You already know.
Peace, brother Gideon.
Sa.neter the OG. The bass like a chessboard, piece move coldly, Elder Suntan. Spitting wisdom that's holy, Unc with the knowledge, dropping jewels, they heavy gold leaf. Jabari Falafik, Inky with the bold speech, Captain hold the line, Hebrew war tactics, Kim and walls crumble under Bible back practice. Scrolls versus the glyphs, hieroglyphs get blasted. Ancient scripts clash, truth wrapped in plastic. Thick skin, we make movies, yo. F who you know, this is sa.neter studio. This is the toughest environment, rivalries, bro. Thick skin, tough heart, knowledge gon' blow. Pyramids tough, but the script's still louder. Scrolls in the cipher, the debate devours. He will go to war, comedic power, shower, truth, a double-edged sword. Cut sharper than ours. Apostle with the mic, sermons hit like missiles. Elder something smooth, no wrinkles in the wisdom. They drop facts like bricks, the foundation official. This the sa.neter scene where the truth get chiseled. You need thick skin, we make movies, yo. F who you know, this is sa.neter studio. This is the toughest environment, rivalries grow. Thick skin, tough heart, knowledge gon' blow.
The adjustment burn. We make Negroes adjust.